We are back! We are back! We're so back in action!
What's going on, everybody? Yes, we are back. We are back in action. We are better than ever. We are matching tonight. We're in our Wolfpack swag. It's Wednesday. We're happy. We are ready to go. We got a lot to talk about. We have some figures that were announced last week, Thursday, so we just missed those. We do want to talk about those, so hopefully you guys have a little bit more patience with those figures because some of them are pretty damn sweet, too, that we got to talk about. And then we got to talk delays, man. There are a lot of delays that are coming our way. We want to talk about why we think those are happening, what effect that might have on collectors and the community in general. So stay with us tonight as we enjoy Hump Day. It is Wolfpack Wednesdays. Too sweet to you, my brothers. Sneaker, what's going on, my friend? Little pizzazz, little finesse there.
Oh,
with the,
man.
Too sweet?
Yes. Bring the pizzazz. Too sweet.
Too sweet.
That's all I got.
Cereal.
Dude, feeling really good, man. Feeling really good. Thanks for having me on the show, guys. Appreciate you guys letting me on the show tonight.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Feeling real good, man. Yeah, had a great weekend. Went to the Star Wars marathon. It was a blast. Took Monday, Tuesday off work. So it's a 2-day work week for me today, tomorrow, and then it's the weekend again, which is good because I have a lot of stuff like that I gotta film, I gotta edit, I got a lot going on the channel. Got a couple figures to open, got Padme in, got 000 in. So yeah, I got some stuff that I'm working on. Too sweet. That is way too sweet. There we go.
Well, it's good to have you.
Thanks
guys,
for having me, man.
Coming into the chat, make sure you say hi to us, let us know you're watching, and hit that like button on the way in. Subscribe to my friends' channels if you haven't already, but I would think most of you already have because we have a tight-knit group in here each and every week. We are family, and that is what is so awesome about you guys. Got a poll up, so check that out and go vote on there as well. Brick is got some computer issues, so he will jump on eventually, but until then, we will keep this boat afloat with my brother from another mother, DLO The Collector, who I mean, we did plan the shirt, but we didn't plan the hat. I mean, and you know, the stylish beard and just kind of looking good. So man, we're just
looking in a handsome mirror. That's all I got to say about that.
That's right.
No, what's up, boys? So good. I love Wednesdays, don't you? Just
I do.
Best time, hump day, hanging out with the boys, talking hot toys, talking 1/6, talking Star Wars, talking everything collectible. It's a good time of the day. It's a good time here, guys. I'm excited to be here. Yeah, I've been super busy myself too. I put out my video last week live during last week's episode. Cobb Band, it's doing really good. So thank you guys for tuning in and watching that there. I'm immediately going right into the next one as promised. I already did the mods. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen I put a preview of my modded the Batman figure. I didn't post a single photo of that figure intentionally until I did the mod. So the mods are done. I recorded it last night. I'm just going to put it all together and just send it out there. Quicker, faster than ever. I'm excited.
Well, I'm excited to see that too because yeah, those pictures look great. I do like the Batman how it looks, but I think, you know, if it can look even better, you know, then why not? So I think that might be something a lot of collectors want to tackle. I've been busy on mine a little bit too. There's a little bit of a lull, and then got my Darth Vader in last week, so I got that review up on Friday. With my mods, I guess you'd call them, or customizations, got the wired cape plus the CCFL saber. Chef's kiss, that thing looks great. And then got the final parts, the final production parts for the Moduspace Mono in, so I did a final review on that. You guys can go check that out too. So if you've ordered it or you're just curious, you can see, you know, what that final product is going to look like. Would love to hear your thoughts. A lot of you have already commented already. But yes, Welcome to Wolfpack Wednesdays, episode 52. We are here to hang loose. If you're here for, serious talks and, suit and tie affair, this is not the place. But we are going to talk figures, but we're going to have fun. And let's just check in with the chat and see who's joining us tonight. We got Luke Christian, says, let's go. Doc Bat, always good to have you here representing DC for us. Let's see, Valkyrie. Yeah, Wolfpack Wednesdays, too sweet to you. Thanks for throwing out those wolves. We got Giovan. Howdy, y'all. Hope everyone is well this Wednesday. We got Christian Cooper. What up, Wolfpack and chat? Good to see you, Christian. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Tighter FL. What's up, everyone? Finally had Return of the Jedi C-3PO delivered today. Many congrats to you. That is awesome. It's a great figure. I was... I did a review on it, and you can just see that I was just blown away. I was totally not expecting the figure to be that awesome. So congrats to you. That's a really, really solid figure. One that should have been done probably a while ago, but nonetheless, good to have it. Primetime reviews, my friend Brandon. What's going on? He invited, I think he invited all of us. We were texting, and he said, I think he said you guys, so I'm assuming he meant us. We should, next time we're in Rhode Island, drinks, cigars, pool. Dude,
meet Ray from Underground Figures. He's local to him, so he picks up his stuff from him.
Yeah, that's true.
There you go.
I'm jealous, man. I'm jealous.
Next time we go to the East Coast, we got a place to go. I don't know about a place to stay, though. I said, how many bedrooms you got? And he said, well, not enough, but I have air mattress. So I'm like, yeah, well, we'll see. We'll figure that out. But it's nice to know we have a place to go visit friends, pretty much wherever we go. So that's awesome. One of these...
Nationwide, baby.
One of these years, we're gonna take you up on that.
Nationwide, and he's got some really awesome Star Wars Crocs, man. I messaged him today because he's gonna put up that photo of those like really cool Star Wars Crocs.
That's right. But good to have you, Brandon. We got Tristan. What up, fam? What is going on, my friend? Thank you for being here. Jazzy, evening, boys. Good to have you in here as well. We got Krivis1138. Evening, everyone.
What's up, Chris?
We got Brad Cormack, evening Wolfpack, friend from the UP. We got one Adam 12. What's going on, Adam? He says, how sweet it is. Wolfpack Wednesday. Hi, guys. I'm 5 for 5 in delay notices. He shared that with me on Instagram.
Yeah.
I stayed in the clear yesterday, and then I finally got hit with Mantis today. So almost everybody, I think, is getting hit. It's really, really interesting. I'm excited to talk about that. We got Queso Blanco in the house. Happy Wednesday to you. Universal Key, thank you for stopping in. We have channel member Collection Obsession. Too sweet. What is going on? Wolfpack. Batman Collectibles. What's up, guys? Watching while under tornado warnings in Tennessee. We weren't in a tornado warning. I was in a severe thunderstorm warning, but, Sneaker just left. He was in a tornado watch.
I was in a tornado warning, dude.
Was it a warning? So one touchdown?
It was wild out here.
Is that
one touchdown? I think 30 minutes west of me.
Okay.
So Oconomowoc area, and then I think a little south of me too. There's just a straight line going down from the west of me, going north to kind of the south, I think. But one of my coworkers showed me a picture of a giant funnel cloud that was forming.
Yeah.
Got this crazy picture.
That's crazy
so yeah, it was only for 20 minutes at my house, but it got really dark.
Still. Yeah,
super quiet, and then we had a pretty bad storm at that point. Yeah.
So, Batman Collectibles, we hope you're staying obviously safe, where you're at, and hopefully that warning just goes away pretty quick. DLO, quiz for you, because you're not really familiar with the tornado stuff, I guess. What is the difference between a tornado warning and a tornado watch?
Really? We got 50 million figures delayed, and we want to talk about if DLO knows what a warning is or a watch.
You had to elaborate.
Here we go again.
These are our icebreakers. This gets us going. So
tornado, I know hurricane-o. Okay, that's what I know.
That's what I was wondering if you would know. What's up, Brick?
Man,
too sweet to Brick Artemis.
Too sweet. I had to reset my router, everything, so if I'm a little glitchy at first, it just popped on. I don't know what was going on. My computer was dead, and then as I'm charging it, it slowly like warms up. So like Instagram, where I get the link from, was just like, but Facebook worked, and I'm like, well, okay. So I almost messaged you for Facebook, but then that shut down. I'm like, what the hell? I'm here. Welcome.
You're here.
Yeah.
What are you drinking? You drinking anything?
Yeah, I got Gatorade.
Oh, okay.
But then I decided to get lucky and have a beer.
There you go. All right.
Yeah.
Loosen up with us. So yes, a tornado warning means one has touched down. There is one been spotted. So this is a warning. There's a tornado. Watch means all the ingredients are there to make a tornado, but we haven't seen one yet. So, it's basically be on the watch for a tornado. So now you know.
Okay, I'll bite because that sounds backwards. I think it should be the other way around.
I know.
I'm still confused.
Like tornado watch.
Yeah.
There it is. Tornado warning. We'll see. I don't know. Miss Western, your weird weather. Rain and wind. That's what I'm used to.
Right. We got Jose in the house. What's going on, my friend? Thank you for being here. My father Django is joining us tonight. Hello, guys. We got Striker 47. I am full with the Star Wars Hot Toys pre-orders that I have done, but I have a feeling that there's another figure coming our way end of this week. Interesting. Do you guys feel the same on the panel? And if so, do you have any ideas what it could be? Another announcement, Star Wars announcement.
I have a hope. I have a hope that will happen, and we'll go into it more when we start breaking down wins and losses for the recap. But let's just say I'll leave it at I hope for now, and we'll touch more about it. I'll touch more about it later. I have some thoughts on that.
Okay, sounds good. Sneaks.
Do I think we're going to get another Star Wars announcement this week?
Yeah, end of the week. At some point, they got to go back.
I think we could potentially get I think we could potentially get another Star Wars announcement this week. Yeah, because we're in Phantom Menace 25th territory. Like, you already know that Obi-Wan Padawan's coming next.
One can hope.
It's coming. So I wouldn't be surprised. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we get throughout the month of May, if we get more Star Wars announcements with 25th anniversary Phantom Menace. And I think another Star Wars figure that I'm sure DLO is hoping to talk about at a later time. So I'll let him have his have the floor at that time. I'm not going to spoil.
You let me have my moment, bro.
I don't even think we didn't even talk about it backstage, but I already know what it is. So there you go.
You do, huh?
Right.
Yep.
You know what?
Also,
I do think. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, I think that Palpatine's probably, there was like rumor about that Palpatine coming. I would think they're going to release that potentially soon with this like dark side stuff going on, but I mean, I don't know.
Return of the Jedi or Revenge of the Sith?
No, the
Clone Wars
one.
Clone Wars.
Oh, release it.
But it's also like, I think the window is through September, so I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna.
Pretty fast. Wasn't it announced last year?
Yeah, that was the May the 4th announcement last year.
Right?
So like the window's through September, and I know a lot of people have been saying like, oh, the Palpatine is supposed to come out potentially, but I don't know.
Cool.
I could
How about
see.
you? How about you, Brick?
I could see Qui-Gon getting announced. 2.0 Qui-Gon, and then we
Artisan,
are all
baby.
back here. We are all back here. Like, is that all we're getting? Are we gonna get Padawan? Like, hopefully, and then finally it's gonna come. But I can see us sitting around just waiting because that's what Hot Toys likes us to do.
True.
Just mess with our heads.
It's what they do is they mess with us. We got Steve in the house. After forced pandemic, I get used to delays. Yeah, I hear you on that one. We got Kyle Goodwin in the house. Too sweet to you, my brother. Thank you for being here. We got Brandon Mosley in the house. What's up, my dudes? What's going on, Brandon? Thank you for joining us. Derek, another channel member. Good evening, guys. Hope everyone is well and ready to talk some plastic crack. Darth Tamaris, always good to have you in here. Of course, we got Brick Artemis. Riley Reviews is here as well. We got to get him back on the show. It's been way too long. Riley, I hope you're good. I know I just watched you unbox that in-art Batman. So hopefully you still got some love for the Hot Toys, but I can understand, loving that in-art one. So definitely looks cool on the shelf with that Batmobile. Born Again, what's up, Wolfpack? Hope all is well. Grilled up some steaks this past weekend, and they were great, which got me thinking, how do you enjoy your steak? I know when Born Again comes on, and he's going to have that interesting question for us to kind of start the show. So I'll let you guys go first. Any vegans in here? If we had one, I thought it would be Steve, but we don't.
Jeez.
That'd be my guess too. That'd be my guess if it was one amongst the group. It'd be that
I
guy.
don't know how to take that, but okay, continue.
Steve, how do you like your steak?
Medium rare. Medium rare.
If it's
What do you
rare,
mean, what do you mean, how do I like my steak? Is this a real question? Medium rare. That's it. Answer. I answered for all four of us. Move on.
if it's
Yeah.
raw, if it's or
Next
rare,
question.
I should say, will you eat it, or are you picky that it's got to be a certain like medium?
Are you
rare?
saying like if I said medium rare and it was a little bit undercooked from that, would I
Right.
eat it?
Yep.
I would eat it.
Very nice. How about you, DLO?
Yeah, I agree with Sneaker on that one. That's the only way to eat a steak.
Yeah. Brick?
Medium well, baby. Let's
Medium
go.
Oh.
well.
Well,
Gotta have it cooked a little bit. I'm
This
not
shouldn't
eating.
turn
I
Whoa,
swear,
whoa,
I
are you
swear
serious?
he just hates to agree with
100%.
us.
100%.
Cooked a little bit is not medium well. That's cooked a lot of it, bro.
I need it to be a little pink in the middle, and that is it.
you like,
Dang.
So
Little
I
chewy
don't
steak?
like it. I don't like it bloody, man. I got sauce for that. I'm good.
Yeah,
Eat it.
I'll leave that one.
you put
alone.
sauce on too? What are you like? You're an A1
yeah.
guy?
Heinz A1. Yeah, it depends. I like my
You know, it's-
sauce. I eat sauce with everything. I eat ketchup with everything, sauce with everything.
That's an insult to the chef.
The only place that I've ever gotten a steak that I do not need sauce is Longhorn Steakhouse. Everywhere else I've gotten an
Longhorn's good.
80 I have gotten an $80 steak once, and it was just like it wasn't that good.
Wow. Hey, you
Wow.
guys want to know a fun fact about steak? You know, people always say like, "Oh, the steak is so bloody." Like I got all that blood on the plate. It's actually not blood that's on the plate.
No, it's
It's
not.
actually
Correct.
not blood from the steak. It's
Correct.
A very strong misconception that people say it's actually like myoglobin, which is from the steak, or like water as well. But it's kind of part of like the protein aspect of the steak. It is not blood, so it's not just blood leaking out of your steak, guys.
That's
you go.
fine. I like to
good stuff.
bite into
Medium rare
meats and
safe.
not water, whatever the fuck it is.
What? Well, I mean, it's like it's just like liquid coming out from
Yeah.
the meat. You know, just like when you cook
Sound-
anything else.
It's even worse now. If it was blood, I get it. Now you're talking about my born water, whatever. that
Meeting
is.
well
My
and sauce,
It's
bro.
myoglobin. It's just protein, part of the protein.
It's just my
Dilo, what'd you say?
No, I'm just still can't get over. He says medium well and sauce though too. You know, it's just like
Hey, big dog.
Why even
big
eat it? Why
dog
even eat a
pound,
steak?
why
you
bother
might need a
going
steak at
outside?
that
You know, you know. You can just insult
I,
people indoors. Just gonna go out to their place of residence or where they work and just say, "Hey, I want the shit the way it's not to be made." I mean, come on, bro. When's the last time you had a good? When's the last time you had a steak?
Oh, I don't know.
I know this economy. You know.
the last
I know.
month or so.
Oh,
Couple
okay.
months for me,
Ooh.
actually.
Yeah, I
Excuse
always.
me.
I mean, it's not that I will not eat it medium rare, but I
We
like
went
it
to
medium well.
Roadhouse last week? Did you get a steak then? No, you
No,
got the ribs.
I got
That's
ribs.
Right.
There's Texas Roadhouse.
call
steak
the
is
ribs.
terrible.
All right, so
Anyways,
absolutely need to get a steak now. Thank you for
yes,
who
I know.
don't even
I'm
know who
like
great
put
question.
salivating talking
Great
about
question.
So steak
Um,
when we meet
Hey,
up.
are you gonna put up a poll for this?
Sure, but I got to answer and I got to end this poll. 74% said yes. They got the dreaded email. 73%.
Oh wait,
I'm
there's the
gonna start-
poll already.
Yeah, I started with one, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
How do you like your steak cooked? We'll say rare, medium rare, medium well, or well done.
A lot of
Hammer of
people like
God.
rare
Brick
steak,
with
too.
the only sensible answer here. Thank you.
So steak is my favorite food.
Who wrote that?
My favorite thing to eat. I like to have it with mashed potatoes, corn, rolls, whatever the case may be. But I also enjoy mine medium rare. But I have no problem eating mine rare. My father taught me that he always cooked his rare. So like definitely dark red in the center, and
Grammy forgot medium in the poll.
Did I?
Yeah.
Well, medium rare and then medium well. It's
No,
Yeah.
you can
medium.
only do
Hold
so
on.
many.
Okay,
It's
okay.
fine.
Forget it.
Medium isn't a real thing anyway. It's medium
Just
rare,
vote.
medium
Just
well.
vote me. Just vote.
Wait, you're telling me
Just vote
medium
well
rare
done,
is
because
below
nobody wants
medium? Oh.
Guys, just
Oh,
vote
yeah.
with your heart.
Just vote.
Rick, you've never had a medium rare steak, dude?
You're having
I
one.
never said I never had it. I said I would eat it. Like if it's there,
Oh,
I'll
you're-
eat it.
you're-
But
you're-
if I am able to choose, I will say medium well.
Okay, I'm going to
Something
choose for
tension.
you because you're getting one, and no sauce for you, sir.
No, choke it down.
Listen. You get a potato and you get a steak. That's all you need. It's the manliest meal you can get.
Brooks,
All right.
like I should have never come on this show.
All right.
You know what? Oh, my internet's acting up again.
This was a bad question. I'm all riled up now. Let's talk toys.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
We got Enchanted Jedi here as
I
well.
mind that
Finally
name.
catching alive. Welcome to the show. Good to have you
dope
here.
name.
Hammer of God. Always welcome here as well. Hello, Wolfpack in chat. We got Ryan Stadler. What's up, guys? Should we not start getting worried about all the delays? We're going to talk about that a little bit later. We have Jerpaul 4. You guys picking up any, was this caustic plastic figures? Not sure what that is.
I don't either.
Explain yourself. We got Big Dog Pound 1 in the house. Woo! Welcome to Wolfpack Wednesday. Thank you for being here.
BDP.
We got Trash Panda here as well. When Brick gets on, you guys need to straighten him out on Best Star Wars Movie. He put Andor on S tier above Star Wars and gave it a B. Come on, man. LOL.
I didn't do Andor.
Brick
Rogue
wouldn't do
One.
Andor because he hasn't seen it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I didn't even know you watched it yet, man.
Yeah.
Like, good on you for that.
Oh,
at
maybe
least.
he might have met Rogue One. Maybe he met Rogue One. And he was
Maybe.
just thinking about Andor.
Is
Could you put
Rogue
Andor as
One
a-
not an S tier? I'm sorry. Is that not an S tier?
Put S tier
Well, I
above
mean, depends. I
Star
mean,
Wars.
what's S here on that list of yours that we're referring to here?
No. The list of 4 of us, not just me. Okay. I had 3 people with me, and we all agreed here. It's
Brick's
not
getting
just
cornered. He's like an aggressive raccoon.
The
Well,
list
I'm getting
of four.
attacked.
Okay.
Now Star Wars. I mean, come on.
Well,
I just
well-
got here. I had. Hold on. I had Return
I'm
of the
gonna admit,
Jedi.
Rick, now you best start.
Hold on. I had
All right.
Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back, Revenge of the Sith, and Rogue One. That's it. Boom.
In S tier?
On S tier.
What about The Last Jedi?
That I believe that was in a D.
It was a D. Okay.
All right. You've gained my
Maybe.
respect on that. All right. Are we good to move on, or we want to? Is there any follow-up questions for Brick?
Why was A New Hope ranked the same as The Force Awakens? It's okay.
That's
You don't have
Watch,
to answer. We
watch
can move
the
on.
show,
We
mofo.
can move on.
Watch
All
the
right.
show.
We got
Oh,
Steve here in the house.
Good old
True
Brick.
Star Wars Day is May 25th, 1977. There's definitely something
right.
on the way. Very good, very good. Adam says, after watching Phantom Menace, I'm really pulling for a Jar Jar figure. Seriously. Interesting. See, I would be further away after watching it, but that's just me personally. God, I couldn't stand that
You
character.
guys are so different than me. I need to like.
Jar Jar's
well, no, I
fine,
saw
man.
something just pop up here. Like, I like TikTok came across my feed the other day, and had the actor who plays Jar Jar, right? And he sat down and he said, you know, he had a conversation with George Lucas back then, where he's like, fans who saw my first movies are not going to understand you, but the kids that are coming to see you when you were like 7, 8 years old, they're going to love you forever. So I can kind of see that. And we just kind of aged out when it came out. That's all.
Right.
I thought he was great in Phantom Menace. He was terrible in Attack of the Clones. He got weird after
That whole movie was just...
Phantom Menace was
was a-
fun. He was a fun character. I get it, but
Phantom Menace is a fun movie with lulls in it as well. If that makes sense. Like, there's a lot of fun parts, but then there's a lot of, like, space in between.
see, I
for
like
me.
the political stuff in there. I thought it was a great movie.
It was fun. I wouldn't say it was great, but that's why we can all have different opinions and
Take
enjoy
your
it
right to
as-
dual
as it
opinions.
We're
is.
getting now.
We got Andreas in the house. He thinks he might be wrong, but I think Star Wars is going to chill on a few figure announcements. I mean, geez, it's like they've taken over Hot Toys, which isn't a bad thing. But is Marvel still around? When's the last Marvel announcement we've got?
Thor.
Can anybody even remember it?
Well, that was a release. That was
That was a
different.
release.
Announcement.
How about
Oh,
an
announcement.
announcement?
Yeah. Wait, was that the last release though, Thor? Because that seems like a
Yeah.
while ago still
I think
too.
so.
They've been releasing the Thor line recently.
Yeah.
We're just missing a Lady Thor, and that's it. I think we're done with that one.
It's been super quiet, but like we kind of talked in our private chat, like
Damn.
if you're a Marvel fan, now's really the time to be picking up those figures because when I started collecting, Marvel was the hot shit and Star Wars was kind of in the dumps. Now, you know, things kind of, and then DC just always seems as kind of like just behind the scenes, but it seems like it switches between Marvel and Star Wars, and then that's the time to kind of get the cold figures where you can get the discounts. So
Once
DLO did
Deadpool
that, I know.
happens-
So
Once
go check out
Deadpool and
Marvel
Wolverine
figures right now.
Once Deadpool and Wolverine figures start getting announced, that's when Marvel's gonna shoot right back up. That's when everybody's gonna get real hyped.
There's gonna be a spike, no doubt. Kind of like
They're
Spider-Man.
gonna get real hyped up.
Yeah. We got 1/6 shooter here as well. Hello, welcome. Jovan likes his steak medium. That's not an option. Titer says bloody. That's not an option either because technically it's not blood. No, I'm just kidding. But
For a good point.
But yeah,
Good
Hammer of
point.
God says, Brick with the only sensible
you.
answer here. So there you go.
You're my favorite.
Medium well, you mean overcooked.
It's got a point.
We got Collector Joey in the house, a faithful
Hey.
channel member as well. Thank you for being here, Joey. Hope you're doing well, man. Miss you as well. Got to get you back on the show. So many great collectors out there in the community that we just love to have on. But at the same time, sometimes it's fun to just hang out us four once in a while too. So that's kind of what we're doing tonight. We're just chilling with you guys. We're going to talk some figures. I just want to make sure we acknowledge each and every one of you in here as well. We got Lil. Make sure to keep the same energy with Hot Toys with delays as you do with in art. Interesting.
80 figures versus 2.
Interesting.
Got it.
Right.
No taking, my man. We got you.
We got Edgar here. A Taco Bell steak burrito perchance. 1/6 shooter says medium. Yeah, where's medium? I'm just trying to get through, make sure I don't miss anybody. And we got Frank Flores in the house. What's going on, Frank? Hope you're doing well, man. And John Doe agree, picking up a lot of cheap MCU figures as of late. All right,
Sure.
there you have it. Yeah, good to have everybody here. We got 72 in the house. Don't forget to hit that like button. And yeah, share this show with your friends. We want to hit 100 in here, and we can't do it without each and every one of you guys watching. So let's start with some announcements and releases and catch up over the last week of news. I want you guys on the panel to well, before we do that, though, let me end this poll so we can see what the real answer is here.
Oh, we already know.
How do you like your steak cooked? 48% said medium rare. 34% said medium well. 8% said rare. And 8% said well done. There you have it. The mob has spoken. The only way to eat your steak.
Not a lone
is
wolf
medium
after all.
rare.
That was quite a comeback. It was pretty
Lopsided there?
pretty lopsided for a while there. I was watching it.
Okay, let's just get this guy out of the way. This is an actual release, and this is the Scout Trooper from Sneaker. What's it from?
You're muted, brah.
Come on, brah. This isn't your first rodeo.
Oh, I definitely did not mute myself.
I did not.
Someone
mute you.
muted me.
I did
It was
not.
not
It
mute
was
you.
me. It was me. Now hurry up
right.
and answer.
Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
There
The
you
video
go.
game.
The video game. So
The only one and only release figure from the line.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
This is sad. Announce and release and still got
Still don't got Cal.
It's
you
crazy.
won't.
Move
You
on.
won't get it.
Cal
Well, maybe.
where
I
are
mean,
bro?
you got some other stuff recently, so never say never. Would you
Sad.
guys rather have this or just a normal Scout Trooper? Is this more appealing with some of the add-ons?
This actually
would you
looks
rather-
really cool, man.
Would you rather have a Return of the Jedi Scout?
Turn of the Jedi Scout.
Comes with the bike.
No.
Return of Jedi.
I feel like I feel like I would rather just take this, so if I want to swap between the two I can, because it's basically this exact same thing with just these additional things. I'm sure you
But
could
it's not the same.
I'm saying you could
You have
potentially take potentially take
pouches.
this stuff off of the figure potentially.
But you'd be missing the pouches, though, from the Return of the Jedi. So it wouldn't be...
Yeah. Like if I
Mm.
could only pick only one, I would take OT, dude. Original trilogy.
You also get the rifle, the sniper rifle with the...
I like that rifle.
with the Return of the Jedi.
Good
as well.
rifle.
So I mean, it's not like it comes with nothing, but I don't know. This is a different look, but I mean, does this appeal to you guys? I mean, is it nothing without Cal Kestis, or is it something that as long as you collect troopers, then you might want to pick this up? And we're just hopping in here, whoever wants to.
Yeah, I
hop
think
in.
it just kind of comes down to that exactly what you just said there, Graham. Because it's like you got
Great pictures.
now the third version of a trooper over here. This one is more specific to the game, but if you're looking for, I think it only works honestly if you have already a scout trooper, maybe with a bike, and then you can kind of pair him with this one. Maybe he's riding, shotgun or something like that. That's a cool way to add on a different looking trooper onto that particular vehicle. But I don't know if he stands out enough on his own to warrant, a purchase for me personally. I mean, he looks good. There's absolutely nothing wrong with him, but I don't have any connection to this particular trooper. I mean, I play the game, great game, but it's just like, I don't know. If I had to choose, like, this would be the third trooper priority wise for me. I would rather get the Return of Jedi or even the Mando one before
really
this one here, because that's a
with
great
the
one
feather.
too. So, yeah, I mean, it's a solid figure, but I think without a Cal Kestis to go with it, I just don't really see like a desire for me to pick this one up.
Do you guys know if the is the Mando with speeder bike, is that Scout Troopers, is that still available on Sideshow, or did that finally sell?
Oh, it's probably going to be there for another 5 years. Let me
Yeah,
check.
it's there still.
I mean,
I
it's a
got
really
two of
cool
them. I love
figure.
those things.
Yeah, they're
They're
cool,
really
but
cool.
I'd just much rather have the OT as well. But I don't know, they really, it's almost like they knew this figure. I don't want to say it's boring, because like you said, Sneaker, you like it and it's got some cool things, but it's like they really tried to jazz up these photos with this background and then getting the action shots to really sell this figure. Like, they're almost like, man, we know what we got here. We really got to sell these photos so that like people get kind of stirred up about it and maybe make some purchases. Do you guys think I'm onto something, or is it just a
Yeah,
random
1,000%.
background?
I mean, it's a
you're
very
right.
boring release. I mean, essentially, like, they label it as a video game version there. Yeah, it has a couple unique little pieces of material on it there, but at the end of the day, it's just a basic Scout Trooper. And there's two very good ones already out there still to find out there. I mean, they're even using the Scout bike from Return of Jedi. I mean, what does that tell you, honestly
I was gonna
speaking?
say, that's really interesting because they don't sell the speeder by itself. So
Right.
it's like, what are you trying to do here? Like, it would have been really cool if they would have, like with the swoosh bike, if they would have sold the speeder by itself, and then you could pair this up with that, but you really have to take your Scout off and then put this on. So it's just interesting that they would photograph it like that.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just,
Brick?
it's. Oh,
Okay,
sorry.
go
Go ahead, Brick. Brick, go ahead.
No, I if I were to choose, I would definitely choose the Return of the Jedi. I like the more classy, iconic look. I would, if I were to display the Scout Trooper, I would definitely go that route. However, I think this is cool. I never played the game, so I also don't have that connection with it. But yeah, I'm with
You
DLO
never
on
played
this.
this
You got never play this game, man. I
Did
know.
you play? You didn't play
Me
either
neither.
of them? Like,
I'm with Brick.
dude, you got.
I-
Yo,
I-
you played this, right?
You're missing out. You're missing
had
out.
You guys
friend-
missed now.
I
This is
had
one of
a
the best
friend-
Star Wars games.
Yeah, I had a
100%.
friend that I would hang out with, and he would play this all the time. Like if I showed up, he was playing it and stuff like that. So I've seen a little bit here and there, but I've never actually sat down and played it
Oh,
myself.
dude.
Oh yeah, it's good.
Great
Though.
game, man.
Yeah,
Me and
or
Sneaker
nothing
like
much
flung
weight.
like a gazillion this guy over a cliff. Trust me.
This is like the Rick the door technician too. That's what I would buy this figure. Anybody who's played the game, and I would just get a custom nameplate, Rick the door technician.
I thought you said Rick.
If you know, you know.
No, I'm sorry. His
Rick
name is
the
Oh,
door
you're like
Rick.
poking fun or something.
Yeah, no,
Rick's
no,
like, "Just
not
leave me
not Rick.
alone.
Sorry, Rick.
Just
But yeah, yeah. Yeah, you got to play the game, man. But I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I didn't mean to
it's worth
interrupt
it.
you. Asking you if you played it.
No, no
What's
worries.
the price on this? Anybody remember the price?
I can look.
240-ish, 235.
You look.
Let's see here.
What do you guys
245.
think in the chat? Like, is
And
this
waitlist,
something you're going to
245
pick
and
up?
waitlisted.
Oh, it is waitlisted.
This is cool, man. I want to get one of these. I want to get one of these. The biggest issue that I have is like, it's just super underwhelming when you've announced nothing else from this video game series.
Yeah.
Like, there are so many figures you could do from this game, and to just like announce this and brand it, the game, is just like really underwhelming when we don't have a Cal Kestis for one. There are so many other droids and enemies that you could do, and like, you know, different types of like enemy droids and different types of troopers that you could do. We don't even have like give us a Fallen Order Purge Trooper. You know, that would have been a
That'd be
really
nice.
cool figure.
Yeah.
Like the Phase 1 Purge Trooper. I like the Kenobi
like
one,
that
but
one.
the Phase 1 is probably you have the Phase 1 Purge Trooper, and you could do like, there were different variations of that they could have done. There's just so many other figures that they could have done from this line rather than do this. So I would say underwhelming is the the word I would use for this figure in general. When you just simply for the fact that we have no other Jedi Fallen Order or Jedi Survivor figures. That's like the one downside. It's a cool figure. If they had 4 or 5 other announcements already from this game, and then they announce this, I'd be like, oh, this is cool. Like, this is gonna be cool to pair with like my other figures. But for this to be the sole release for this video game series does not do the game any justice at all when it comes to like getting figures from the game.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just one of those things where.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I'm pretty passionate about video games, and I wish Hot Toys would like do more when it comes to video games, like what they've done for like the Spider-Man 2, where like the game comes out, they hit it hard with announcements, they get those figures out quick, they have Venom in the pipeline. Like, you could have came out with when Jedi Fallen Order came out, you could have came out with a Cal Kestis. Like, you could have done some of these other figures. You could have gave us a Trilla from the first game. Like, you could have done some of the other Inquisitors, but it's just, yeah, it just sucks that I'm more frustrated with the fact, like, I think it's a really cool figure. I'm more frustrated with the fact that we've gotten nothing from the game, and the game was a huge hit. Like, they really could have taken advantage of the popularity of the game. So it bothers me more that they're just not giving the game the respect it deserves when it comes to coming out with figures from it. We need a Cal Kestis. Like, how do you not have that figure yet? It's crazy.
To me, this only reaches trooper collectors because there is nothing else from the game. So, I mean, yeah, you don't even have like the main character. So it's just, if you like troopers and you collect troopers, this is for you. But otherwise, I don't see why anybody would really want this. But I could be wrong.
Well, I feel bad because I feel like they kind of left this one out to die, though, to be honest with you, because I remember everybody's reaction when it was announced. Not so much they were excited about the figure, but they were excited about the potential of the line that may come with it. Kind of like Sneaker was saying before. I mean, if you announce a Cal Kestis, or you can announce, like I think was a great idea, a Phase 1 Purge Trooper, I agree. I love that's my favorite version for sure. Yeah. Like something like that would have instantly made this something more appealing to a collector, because now you have something to accent this with. When you basically put him in a line by himself, and you think about all the other Star Wars figures that are out there, all the other announcements that are constantly being done, this one kind of gets left in the dust there, because he doesn't have anybody else to pair with there. He can merge him with another line, but why even bother starting that if that's the case? For me, this kind of reminds me a lot of when we had Suicide Squad 2 and we had just King Shark. We didn't get Harley Quinn. Peacemaker came because he got lucky and had a hit TV show. We really we just left King Shark out to dry, and look at how he is on the market right now. Like, they can't even get rid of him on Hot Toys. Right. I mean, get rid of him on Sideshow. Excuse me. So, yeah, it's just one of those things where Hot Toys makes these bizarre decisions where oh yeah, let's throw something out from this line, get people talking about it, and then don't follow up. You just leave it one and done. And just why did we even do it then if that's the case, if you're not going to go and commit to it? So yeah. Well,
what do you think it is? Do you think it is more of a trooper thing? Hot Toys knows that collectors love troopers, because if you look at EA made this, right? So they have the Umbra Trooper. They haven't really done any I don't know how to a character other than
anything
a
outside
trooper,
of a
correct?
trooper, yeah.
Right. So maybe
oh, sorry, go ahead. I was just saying Battlefront 2 is a little bit different, because there's just, that game is it's easier to brand troopers for that game, because there's so many different unique designs and things you could do. So I get that one, but
I was just maybe getting to the point where it's obviously you don't need the rights, I don't think, for the guy who played the character, because they get the dots in your face and whatnot. I don't know if they did that back when this game was made. However, you might still need the rights for that character from EA, right? So I don't know if it was just easier to be oh, we'll do troopers, it's cheaper, see what happens. Okay, now we're doing Battlefront, and kind of just keep doing troopers for those trooper fans. Maybe they never really had the thought of doing the Cal Kestis and all that, even though they should. But
I don't get how it works with how every I think a Black Series, because Black Series does all these figures. They've done multiple Cal Kestis figures. Yeah. So it's just I don't know what's going on with the licensing stuff, as far as if Cameron Monaghan doesn't want to give them the likeness for that, but I would think for the game, he kind of signs that stuff over. We can make merchandise for you. So I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
with him not getting Calcassus, but he would be
Yeah, and then not only that, but like another thing with video games. So they have all these Spider-Man characters, but none of them have a head sculpt. It's all just, you know what I mean? Just the masked up version. So there's got to be some reason to that. And then we have Venom, but we didn't get like any other characters with like an actual like face.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten Craven. We haven't gotten even Mary Jane, or I don't know who would buy Mary Jane, but you never know. But just like figures like that. So I'm wondering if like these masked up characters are just cheaper. I don't know.
Another thing is like, because they'd have to like do essentially what they did with the Bad Batch, right? They'd have to like try to make them realistic when they do the head sculpts, unless they do an animated head sculpt. Because like, what's the animated Spider-Man 2099? He's one they're doing like kind of this animated looking head sculpt, right?
Yeah,
it's just weird. It's just interesting, like the choices that they're making when it comes to some of this stuff, and it's just why. And like Calcassus is Cameron Monaghan. That is the actor. He's in the game. Like they could do it right off. That's even a better argument versus like Spider-Man 2 when they have to do like an animated character like a Craven. They'd have to make him look kind of realistic. But like this is Cameron Monaghan. Like they could make him look exactly like him. That's exactly how he looks in the game. So it's I don't know.
Well, it kind of harkens back to Starkiller a couple shows ago when we were talking about him. A lot of people were up at hand. They're like, why didn't we get, a head sculpt for him there? I mean, granted, you can make the argument he doesn't need it because of the particular one we're getting, but still all the same, it just seems like it's an easier path for Hot Toys to take, which, you can call it being smart. You can call it being cheap. I mean, you can call it whatever you want to call it there, but it definitely is room for to be desired. But I don't think it's always going to be like monetary specifically, like, oh, I don't want to pay the likeness rights for the actor. Sometimes I feel like Hot Toys will leave something intentionally, and again, this is my theory, this intentionally inaccurate or possibly missing that would be a good overall package to sell, just so they can make a second one later.
Yeah.
Just maybe just kind of seeing that lately, just kind of getting that vibe.
I was hoping for that with the Spider-Man 2.0, like finally get that head sculpt, but I do think eventually they will, but I feel like there's something there onto why, or as to why.
Yeah, it's possible.
I don't think, do we have any video games with like a face, a head sculpt?
Video game?
Like I wonder if like video games like a real actor. Yeah, like a Peter Parker or a Miles or
Metal Gear Solid.
Okay. Yeah, way back. Yeah, and Resident Evil,
Snake and Big Boss,
and Resident Evil back in the day. But
that's not a real likeness. I'm talking like, but Calcassus, that's like a real actor though. Like anything like that, anybody can think of. Nothing.
Yeah, because they actually like get the spots on now, where before it was just completely like.
I'm sure they can do it. I think they're holding out.
Sure. Yeah, like, do you think we're gonna get a Calcassus? You guys think it's gonna happen?
I mean, we're getting Starkiller. I mean, I don't see how we
never say never.
Yeah, it's always on the table.
Yeah,
I feel like.
Well, the thing about this too is they basically had the figures, so from the Scout Troopers they've done in the past. So yeah, just throw on a pauldron and a couple other small accessories, and boom, there you go. You got your video game Scout Trooper. So like Tighter FL said, it's definitely a cash grab, but at the same time, I just don't see. It's almost like just a dead end. Like it's just nothing there for collectors to really grab because there's nothing else there. But really quick, I want to check in with the chat. We got some people kind of coming in. We got Clinton Martin. Howdy, folks. What's going on, my friend? Danny Spachka has entered the chat as well. Channel member. Thank you for being here. We got Addy Baloo in the house. We got 1-6 Star Wars Pimpazoid. He says he only got one of these. Breaking my rule of 2 with troopers with this one. So that tells you something right there, too. He always gets 2, and here he just got 1. Let's see here. Mizael Santa Olala.
Not bad.
Sorry if I butchered that. And I feel it's already been an only Star Wars year for Hot Toys announcements and releases. I don't collect Star Wars, so I wonder how collectors who love the IP decide what to buy and what not. Let's come back around to that. Really quick, we got Man of Hot Collectibles, Dante himself in the house. Look at this amazing panel. Where's my t-shirt? We can get you one. Also have a link in the description to the Jedi Knights Watch store. You guys can pick up Jedi Knight Watch shirts, Wolfpack shirts, all sorts of different cool stuff, hats, carry-on bags, all that good stuff. But Dante, it's good to have you here. I'm going to be on his show this Friday night, so go over to his channel. Make sure you check us out there. We also have, I thought somebody else, we got Infinite Flash. Which version of Cal Kestis do you guys want? Come back to that in 1 second. We got Figurecraft in the house. Good evening, fellas. Happy hump day. Too sweet to you. Thank you for being a channel member. And, of course, How You Figure. Justin is in the house as well. Last week's special guest was a blast to have him on. I was thinking about it today, actually, when I was driving, because I was thinking about, doing the show, and just my mind kind of thinks of like the process that's going to happen. And I remember turning it over to him about announcements. And I just remember him saying, yeah, thanks, Graham. I'll take it from here. And then just like us all laughing. It was just a funny moment. So go check out last week's show with How You Figure. That was a lot of fun. And we have Sayful in the house. Hello and welcome. Thank you for being here. And of course, man, everybody's just streaming in here. We got Thrawn's office. What's going on, Mike? Thank you for being here. Hello, watchers. But let's go back to... I want to go back to this question here. So for people that do collect Star Wars, how do you decide what to buy and what not? Because it's becoming kind of overwhelming with all of the stuff that we're getting. So, Sneaker, you get everything, so it's kind of hard to ask you, because if it's Star Wars, for the most part, you're in on it, right?
For the most part, but I think when you collect like that, like, you have to make sacrifices elsewhere. I think that's like the main thing for collecting a lot of Star Wars. You gotta sacrifice other things that you would want. How do I decide what to buy? I don't know. It's really kind of like, it just makes you think about like how you collect in general. But I mean, there are some Star Wars figures that I just pass on. Honestly, a lot of what I decide to buy too is like where the figure's at in the, like, I mean, obviously like my love for the figure and like the character is what, like, the first and foremost thing. And then the other stuff too is like, where is it at in the market? Like some of these figures right now that are really, really low price that I know, hey, maybe I can get this a year from now. Like there's these other figures that are coming out right now, Star Wars, that I really want to get, right? This year there's going to be a lot of Star Wars releases. We have all the Ahsoka figures coming up. I'm probably not going to go get that figure that's maybe on my list that I know is going to be a lower price next year. Like I know I'm going to be able to get that at a later time. So I'm going to kind of put that on the back burner, and there's so many releases coming out. I want to make sure I get those out of the way first, because they're going to be at a higher price point, obviously, first at release. So I think that's important in my mind when I collect Star Wars stuff, is like what's happening with the market value of some of these figures. Like there's figures that I want to get right now that I don't have, but I know next year they're not going to double in value all of a sudden, likely, because they've been sitting around for a while, right? So that's kind of something that's in the back of my mind. But yeah, Star Wars is tough because you got not only the main characters, but if you go the trooper route, honestly, the troopers are probably the biggest defining thing for a Star Wars collection for somebody, because once you go that route, you're adding in just so many more things. And for me, troopers are such an important thing in Star Wars. I've always thought that, like, every trooper you see has like its place in the Star Wars universe and is like an iconic in some way, shape, or form to each movie. Like if you point out a trooper, you can recognize where that trooper's from, right? I think that's really cool about Star Wars. So yeah, once I feel like the turning point is when you get into troopers. That's when it makes things really, really difficult. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on it. It's good. It's a good thought-provoking question.
That's a good perspective too, because I know you do buy mostly Star Wars stuff, so a lot of the stuff you're going to get, but at the same time, there's still an angle that you have for it. Like you're looking at the market and do I think I can get this later? So you're still prioritizing when you're getting stuff. So I like that answer a lot. DLO, how about you?
Yeah, for me, it's however I feel like that day. I'm a simple man. I put on my pants one leg at a time, like everybody else. It has to speak to me here. Like, I mean, like Steve made a very eloquent point to like how his focus is with it. For me, I've been doing it so darn long, to be honest with you. Like I'm sporadic. Like I need to, like I can't continue to like constantly just buy nothing but Star Wars nonstop. Sometimes I need to mix it up just for my own sanity with that there. So for me, like kind of to you, like, you know, I didn't start off as a Star Wars collector. I started off as a DC collector, and I became a Marvel and a Star Wars collector when DC wasn't getting releases and it was other stuff. So I kind of explored and expanded. So for me, I've just kind of got into a flow of, I actually kind of the way Grant was saying earlier about Marvel, I kind of collect against the trend, because the way I look at it for me personally is like, I don't have a priority right now with Star Wars, because I know Star Wars will be there for me, because I know everybody else is so much more into Star Wars right now than I am, that if I want to get a character, if I want to get a figure, if I want to get a trooper, I will find one. It's, you know, it may not be new. I may have to go in the secondary market, but for me, the priorities right now are the one-offs, the ones that are very unique that not many people are concentrating on right now. I feel like those are the ones that are going to be the future, and those are the ones that are going to be more valuable to me personally, because they're going to stand out more for the fact that they're so different from my other focus. So for me, things like Black Adam that came out this year, I'm much more excited about something like that than a scout trooper from a video game that doesn't have the main character. So it's for everybody, it's going to be a different process. It's just going to be a matter of how you feel about what is going to be a priority to you. And I think just focus on that. Focus on what you think is going to be most important. For me right now, Star Wars, I feel like I can kind of jump in, I can jump out, and I don't feel like I'm going to be behind anybody, if that kind of makes sense. For me, I want to get those figures that are not being talked about, because those are going to be the ones that people are going to be chasing later. So if I needed to move something, those are probably going to be my more valuable figures in the next couple years. If that makes not trying to think about selling or anything like that, but just think naturally speaking that it's gonna be more likely that those figures, if I need to unload those are going to help me fund the collection better than some of these other troopers and other stuff that's coming out right now.
Well, not only that, but if it's a figure that you're going to want in 2 years that you can't find anymore, it's going to be harder to pay for it because it's going to be more expensive. So you have it.
Yeah, I mean, just to keep it on Star Wars for a second. I mean, the big one everybody knows about is Crosshair. Okay, nobody was really paying attention to Bad Batch for a very long time. It was kind of under the radar. People were focusing on, and with all good reason. I mean, we had stuff like, Episode 2 announces. We had a Padme. We had an Anakin, which we're still waiting for. C-3PO. We had some really good love for the movies, and that kind of subsided like some of the excitement for more clone stuff, because we were getting so much heavy, Clone Wars 501st troopers. We have Jesse, we have the Bark Trooper, we have all these other simultaneous releases going on, that Bad Batch was kind of left to its own like little island over here. And when everybody wasn't looking, bam, a Crosshair became super valuable out of nowhere, right? Still Star Wars, but it wasn't being concentrated on. So that's how I kind of like navigate. I want to look for stuff that people are not looking at, because I feel like that's where the excitement is right now, where it's just pieces that are, maybe just kind of going missed.
Yeah, well said. How about you, Brick? What do you take into account if you're going to get a Star Wars figure or not?
If I'm going to give you an honest answer, I am going to say I have to like the Star Wars movie or the show, right? Because I don't like everything that Star Wars puts out, honestly. So I got to like the movie, and then I have to like the character. I got to like the character enough to choose that figure over, a new DC or Marvel figure. I do love Star Wars, but I love the OT and I love the prequels. I like Mandalorian too, but and Ahsoka was fine. I liked Ahsoka, but like everything else is kind of like out there for me. So it's almost too much in my mind to try and catch everything. I like Ahsoka enough to get a couple figures. So again, I have to like that character. I don't want to just get the whole Ahsoka line to say I got the whole Ahsoka line and not care about, a few of them.
Sure.
Just for me. So I really have, like, for me, Phantom Menace, my favorite, not the best movie in Star Wars, but it's definitely my favorite Star Wars for reasons. So for that line, I will probably want to buy every figure that is ever announced for that movie. And that goes for any movie that I absolutely love. So
it's my only completed line. It's Phantom Menace.
Well, it's easy now. It's easy now. Hopefully we get a few more, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I gotta love the movie. I gotta love the character from that movie. I need an Obi-Wan, so that's a character I do love. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Star Wars in itself is a rabbit hole, so you really got to be careful. It's a very slippery slope. I'm with you guys on all of your deciding factors. Brick, kind of like what you said too. I definitely have to have a connection with the character, with the movie. If it's like the Scout Trooper, I can definitely easily say, no, that's just not for me. And I'm kind of with like Tighter FL and then Collection Obsession, like some of the new stuff that's come out, like with the video games or more of like comic book inspiration stuff. It's easier for me to just say, that's not something that I'm into. It's Star Wars, but it doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to buy it because it's just not my wheelhouse of fandom. So, like, for me, it's really just been the Maul figure in the last week or two that has really captivated me that I want to get. So, like, I'm okay with that because there's just enough for everybody out there. There's OT, there's prequels, there's sequels, there's Mando, there's some of this dark side stuff that we're getting. So there's definitely a lot. So like if you're like Steve, that's tricky. Like it's tricky to maneuver collecting Star Wars. But like for me too, I'm into a bunch of different IPs. So definitely have to be a little bit more selective and disciplined when it comes to Star Wars. But I will say it's still my favorite to collect, my favorite IP to collect. So Batman's favorite character, but Star Wars is definitely going to be the favorite IP. We have the movie canon in the house. What's going on, Gio? Thank you for being here, my friend. Hope you're doing well on this Wednesday evening. We also got Raiden. He says bonjour. Welcome. Thrawn's offer says no wrong way, but try to pick a focus and try to stick to that, whether it's OT, Clone Wars, prequels, Troopers, etc. Create imaginary boundaries helps, even if you don't stick to it. So, like, what I did originally was, like, I was starting to kind of dabble all over Star Wars, and then I decided, like, I just got to stick with OT. There's just too much. But now I'm to the point where I'm just like Brick said, it's got to be that connection. I'm not going to buy a Rey figure just because it's Star Wars. I'm not going to buy this Scout just because it's Star Wars. I'm not going to buy, this other, even if it's a Mando line, if it's IG-11, I just didn't care that much for the character. I'm not buying it. So, like, I can draw that line between the character that I have a connection with and the characters that I don't, and I don't feel like I need to complete a whole line either. So that's kind of where I'm at. What do you guys? You guys kind of feel me on that, or am I out of the loop?
You got to break that habit of line collecting. Line collecting is just impossible at this stage. It used to be very doable early on with Hot Toys and Star Wars because they didn't do as much as they did with Marvel and other IPs. So, at a time I was up to date with everything. But then after a while, I think really when Mando took off, it really kind of changed the game where just like you were getting trooper upon trooper or, Boba Fett variation. I mean, you name it. I mean, they were just like, okay, well, this is what's hot. Marvel just wrapped up Endgame. That's the end of an era. People are looking for something different. And they went full force into it there. And for better or worse, that's where we are right now. It's going to be kind of one of those things where now it's impossible to get everything. So you got to be more specific on what you're focused on. And I mean, your focus doesn't have to be so narrow as to pick a trilogy or pick a certain movie. You can pick parts of it there. Like right now, I have a case right now that has Kylo Ren, that has Jyn Erso in it, and it has Vader in it, and it has a bunch of different troopers from Mando and stuff like that. It makes zero sense chronologically whatsoever, but they look great together. And I think at that point when you start breaking down, because I used to be a big believer in lines. Like I had to complete a line. That was always my mindset for the longest time. But once I decided that I needed space, and then I started really keeping myself accountable to what I had in my collections, like I don't really need this. I don't really need this here. It's great, but if I break up the line with this figure, it's not going to lose any luster with the rest of the figures that are still left in that case. So at that point, I said, you know what? That was such a relief to get that off my back, and now I just pick what I like now. So whether they belong in the same movie, TV show, series, doesn't matter at this point. Get exactly what you like there, because if you buy something just to have it, you're going to sell it. And right now, you're going to lose money on it. So you're better off just spending on something you care about more.
Well said. I mean, I was like that with Marvel too. Like the Avengers. You know, I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm not really a big Doctor Strange fan, but I feel like I kind of need him in my collection. You know, and there's like, you know, what about Rescue or a couple of these other ones? And you know, and yeah, I wound up selling them because it's just I don't have that connection, that deep connection with the character. And you know what? You don't need to. You don't need to have a full Avengers line. Just get the characters that you love, and that is that. And you know, end of story. So, anybody else have anything to add? Kind of like on collecting, completing lines or anything like that before we kind of move on.
I will
Really
say, if you like to
good
complete
topic.
lines and you like to collect everything and have that, then by all means do it. You know, with us saying like you don't have to complete lines and stuff doesn't mean that's the only way to collect. So
Right.
definitely, if you feel like you have to get all Star Wars from that line, go for it because that's awesome too.
Way to play both sides.
Everyone's different.
Mhm.
All right. Let's move on.
Vote for Brick Artemis 2024, folks.
Rick Artemis. All right. So this was an interesting announcement. Again, one that I feel like I'm safe from. I was looking at the mall stuff when this first came out, and I saw the one photo, and I didn't. It was on my phone, and How You Figure sent it to me, and I was just glanced at it because I was trying to get the mall video out, and I thought this was at first glance Return of the Jedi Luke. Like I just thought it was a new Luke because you know I think we all are thinking like Return of the Jedi Luke is the next Luke to come out because that's the oldest figure outside of probably A New Hope that could be redone, but you know reusing the head sculpts from Empire Strikes Back and whatnot. So that's kind of just what I thought was going to happen. And I'm like, whoa, like the hair is god awful. Like, oh, it's an Artisan and all that. And then I looked at it closer when all the photos came out. I'm like, okay, I see what this is now. It's, you know, Darth Vader's suit. This isn't Return of the Jedi. It's obviously Dark Empire and whatnot. It is going to be Artisan. Which is interesting to me. I want to get your guys' thoughts on it being Artisan and whatnot. There's a sculpted version as well, but I want to know, what do you think about the rooted hair here? Because I still think Hot Toys has some work to do when it comes to rooted hair. I still think that the sculpted looks pretty good on this one, but DLO, you said it. You thought this head sculpt was actually A New Hope just reused. You still stand on that?
Yeah, I do. I feel. I mean, it definitely shares a resemblance more to A New Hope Luke Skywalker head sculpt, as opposed to thinking it's completely brand new. I could be wrong. Could be a brand new sculpt, but
I see it.
It feels reminiscent of my farm boy Luke. I just a little paler, a little lighter on the paint apps and stuff like that. But it goes to show you. I mean, it's still an excellent sculpt there. I think it might be. I don't know. I could be that sculpt with purrs instead here, or sirs, whatever they want to call it there. Just because the way the mouth and the nose looks, it feels very reminiscent to it there. Again, could be wrong, but I think the sculpt looks good though. I mean, just kind of put that out there first and foremost, like really good looking sculpt. I don't know if I don't know if I'm crazy about the hair. I haven't really looked at it too much just because I didn't find a lot of need to add this to my collection. So I kind of said, okay, I'll let everybody else have that one and whatever. But I think this is where it gets tricky now because Artisan hair, rooted hair in general, is so challenging when we get this short. When you get this short, it's going to be hit or miss per figure, not just a figure, but everybody's figure is going to be 50. It's going to be a miss or a hit, depending on how lucky you are and how good you are with a brush. But overall, though, I kind of like this. And if I can make this argument, I kind of wish we didn't get 2 SKUs for this one here. Because I feel like this would have been cool if this was solely just Artisan and not a sculpted one. Because I feel like this is so niche.
Would have been special. More special.
Yeah, because this goes back to the 92 comics, right? So this is a very specific time in Star Wars collecting here. So I kind of feel like this is such a cool piece for a diehard Star Wars fan that to have this version of Luke, this could have been like almost a guaranteed grail, if you can even say such a thing, right? Just because how unique the character, how unique and how vague it is to Star Wars lore, how specific it is to the character at a certain stage of the character's progression there. I think this could have been an absolute slam dunk, like could have been $1,000 figure in a couple years when it sold out. Just, I don't know. I like it. It's not for me personally, but I just wish, the only thing I had to say this, I kind of wish this was just a solely artisan one, and it was this, what was it, 3,500 if I'm not mistaken? Was the amount?
35.
35, right?
Is it 35 or 3? I think it's 35. Yeah.
35, if I'm not mistaken here. Yeah. I think it's badass, but I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Interesting. The way you were talking, I thought you were all in on this.
Well, no, I appreciate a good figure when I see one, whether if I want to get it or not, because I'm honestly, I'm happy for the community to get something like this, because this is way better than a Chrome Captain Commander Cody, right? I think this is unique. Sure. I respect the thought of bringing something like this as an option to collectors way more than a trooper with a different pauldron, and he happens to be for a game. And there's no, I'm sorry, I'm very bitter. You can tell I'm very bitter about not having Calcastus. But no, seriously though, like this is the kind of stuff that I like when the hobby gets options like this, because this here speaks to a very specific like collector. This would be a phenomenal one-off piece to have. You know they're not going to remake this again. You know they're not going to go forward and go down a whole line. This is going to be it for them. It's great that, you know, if a lot of people are going to support this, they're going to get the sculpted, and some people are going to get the artisan. Great. I don't think there's room for two. I don't feel like there's enough collectors to warrant a sculpted and a rooted one. I think it should have been strictly rooted. It could have been a very unique piece, kind of like the Anakin was done. And I think we can move on. I think it'd be move on and be a hell of a piece. We'd be talking about 5-10 years from now. We're like, what a grail. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I feel like they've kind of got greedy doing this particular one, sculpted and rooted, simply because I don't feel like if you give people two options, there'd be enough collectors to really want this like that. Just me and my 2 cents there. But I love the idea. I love the idea. I love the fact that this is now an option for collectors. I think that's fantastic. I think out of all the announcements, I think this is probably the coolest one, just from the fact that it's unique to everything else. So, yeah.
Well, Sneaker, you've been quiet lately. I want to get your input on this. But also, Sneaker, do you think this opens up the gates towards a new, maybe artisan, a new Hope Luke?
That's where I feel like it gets interesting. I guess I'll speak to that point first. The one thing, too, is one comment I made with Anakin was, like, I don't think they're just going to bounce right back to Anakin and do like a dark side Anakin rooted all of a sudden, or like an artisan version. I feel like the artisan line, they're already limiting it. I feel like they're going to want to put out more characters and also separate iterations, like, or separate, like separate characters, not just do like, oh, now we have this Luke. Oh, let's do a New Hope Luke. I don't think my thought would be, it doesn't seem like they would want to like saturate the artisan line either, where they're like, oh, now you have a New Hope Luke, you have Return the Jedi Luke, you have Dark Empire Luke. Like, that seems like something Hot Toys wouldn't really want to do with this, because then you're saturating like a limited artisan line. So I don't know, like, this was perplexing me when I saw this. I was like, I'm shocked we're getting our first artisan Luke Skywalker that is from a comic book.
Right. I didn't see that coming.
I don't think anybody could have guessed, like, oh, we're gonna get a Dark Empire Luke.
Hot Toys wins again.
What's that?
Hot Toys wins again.
Yeah, but I agree with, like, I was listening intently to what Dilo said, because I agree with everything like he was saying about this. Like, this is a really cool figure that, like, this is gonna be, it's truly like a unique piece to get, right? This is gonna be something that they're not gonna remake this. This is probably it. But yeah, I mean, I ordered this, so I'm getting this. I think, speaking to the hair, because I know the hair is kind of a point when it comes to the rooted hair, it's accurate to the comic. Like, if you look at the comic book cover, the hair is like spot on to the cover of the comic book. So I think that's what you're getting.
And I thought the hair looked bad, because at first I thought this was Return of the Jedi. So
yeah, so like Return of the Jedi, this hair does not look right. Yeah, I would say, like, this is purely like a comic. This is like the look of the comic cover. So I think that's an important
I saw
thing
the
too.
head sculpt, and then the upper, just the black, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah,
like, that's.
If this is I wish they would do a rooted Return of the Jedi.
Ooh, that would be awesome.
Luke, but
can you guys imagine?
Yeah, just like, and this is another thing. Is this thing, like, it was gone, obviously, like with it being an artisan exclusive figure. can we imagine like what it would be like if this was like an actual mainstream original trilogy Luke? Like people would be going absolutely nuts for that figure.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting choice, because now I kind of question, what are they going to do with the Artisan line here? Like, are they going to go back in a year and do another Luke Skywalker? It's really hard to say. It'll be interesting to get this one in hand too, to see if this head sculpt can go on to like another Luke Skywalker figure. Because I feel like that would be like, there's some cool potential there to put him on like another body of another Luke Skywalker, and potentially like if you don't want to use this Dark Empire look, you can put it onto another one of your Luke figures and have like a rooted Luke. I think that's another cool option, because you're getting.
I think
Luke
that's going to be limited though,
Skywalker
because somebody said it's already going for like a G on eBay. I think Clinton said on eBay it's already $1,000 already.
Does anybody
What do you
want
mean?
mine for 1,000?
It's gonna be.
Oh yeah, like one already sold for like $800 on eBay, like a pre-sale.
Pre-sale.
Crazy,
A
man.
pre-sale?
Luke is
You're
crazy.
nuts.
Luke is crazy, man. Like, this is Luke Skywalker we're talking about. Like, this is a really big, just getting one of these is a really big deal in collecting, regardless of what it's from. If this was a Luke from one of the worst comic books, somebody's like, people are gonna still want this as Luke Skywalker, right? But yeah, no, I'm excited about it. It looks really cool. It definitely has vampire vibes, like he's gonna suck your blood out.
The
at any
vampire
point in
Luke.
time. I know a lot of people are saying that, like Dracula Luke, but it's really cool. Really interesting. They're doing another like weird Hot Toys decision, 2 LED lightsabers with this one, but you only get one with Star Killer. It's just like really bizarre. You only get one with Artisan Anakin. You don't get Dooku's saber lit up. You only get Anakin's
Same
saber.
with Obi Vader.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, so you
Regal
only
ones.
it's weird. They're doing that. But can you just go back to like the nylon suit for a second, because this is something that
All right.
I want to touch on
talk
that.
about it, but
And I
go ahead.
What'd you say?
No,
What'd you say?
go ahead.
I think this is a really big, like, I know everyone talks about pleather, but I think this is like a huge deal. I know people are talking about this and saying like, oh, great, we're not getting pleather. This is like a huge
This is my
W.
favorite thing about the figure.
This
yeah.
is a huge W
future.
that cannot be overstated when it comes to this, because if this is the future of their figures and this is an actual like durable nylon material that's not going to degrade, that is a huge win if they can start incorporating this into
and it
stuff.
looks good.
It looks really good. It looks. We
Yeah.
all thought it like we
Even
all
at
thought
the-
for Star
the
Killer
Couldn't
it was
tell.
pleather. Remember
Couldn't
Star
tell.
Killer? We were talking about
Yeah.
him like Star Killer. Oh, that's pleather. That's a Vader suit.
Yep.
No, Star Killer's nylon, which is like, that's just a huge win. So I don't want to miss that point talking about this figure, because to have that on there and you not really have to worry so much about it just tearing or degrading over time is that's something that we all want. I just wish they would have done it for Kenobi Vader. That's the only
One Vader sooner.
that is the only bummer.
Right.
But I wonder too, is like, is this going to be a suit that can potentially be like, once we start getting more and more that have it, is it going to be a suit that like you can buy in the secondary market, like when stuff is parted out, and potentially put it on older figures or something too? I think there's some potential there, but
Yeah, I was thinking.
so-
Yeah, I'm sure the body's not the same size as Vader, because Vader's a bigger
that's true.
guy.
That's a good point.
But
But I wonder,
still.
I wonder, Return the Jedi Vader. Are they going to put a nylon suit on him? You know, I think there's some interesting.
I don't think
mean,
they
but
go
it's-
back and do it.
Yeah, I don't think so, because they
It might
didn't
be too
late.
say they were. But man, that's
It'd be
what
cool.
sucks too.
I mean,
'cause, yeah.
yeah, and then it's like all the Vaders are going to be out now, and they're all going to have pleather. It's like,
So then it's like,
this
hey, let's
really
make
sucks.
another Vader.
Yeah,
Now we
bad
gotta go
timing.
back and make
yeah, nylon
you know,
suit.
3.0.
Yeah. But
They
I think
could
this
do a
is
New
just,
Hope soon. Honestly, you know, those are the
Yeah.
older figures. They could do a New Hope.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But really cool that this is like a nylon suit. I think that's just really, like I said, big W for collectors. And I hope they do more of it for other figures, because not having to worry about your pleather getting all messed up, putting on these Kenobi Vader hands and feeling like you're going to rip it right at the elbow because you're pushing on it so hard. Yeah, it's a downside of it. I can't even get the hand pegged in on the Kenobi Vader, because I don't want to like force the pleather
this
too
is
much.
what I wanted them to do with Vader for the longest time, was just split it. You know, and it's
Yep.
almost like a gauntlet, but it's part of the glove, but you can articulate it, because it is so difficult. My Obi-Wan Vader lightsaber holding hand isn't even pegged in. I just can't get it. I'm not
Yeah, me
gonna
neither.
put
It's a
too much
pain.
pressure. Yeah, and then rip the pleather. So it's literally just friction on, and it's holding the CCFL. So I'm a little concerned about that. But you know, what are you gonna do? I can't figure it out. So
Yep.
I like that
Same
a
issue.
lot as well. So like some really good innovative things going on with this Luke for sure. Brick, before I get to you, I want to say that Shadow Wizard Money Gang has won the comment of the night because this is the exact same thing that I saw when I first saw this Luke 2. He says, all I see is the Sprouse twins when I look at this head sculpt. If anybody isn't familiar with who that is, it's the twins that played in Big Daddy, the child. But then when he's grown up, he played in that TV show. With
Riverdale.
That's it. Thank you. And
We Life of Cody, all that stuff.
Yeah.
but when he's looking, especially like to the side here, like I see that so much with the eyes and whatnot. So
It's there.
I
Now that you
just want
point
to
it out.
thank him for saying that because I noticed that right away, and I mentioned it to you guys too in our chat. So thank you. We got the collector in the house. What's going on, my friend? Thanks for being here. Yeah, Raiden says mix between Vader and Luke. I can do my own. We got Mitchell Lawrence here. He's passing on this. And yeah, the collector likes this.
See, that's what I was saying. There should only have been just one Luke for this particular one. Because it's so 50-50 of a Luke. It's not one that's going to appeal for everybody. So why do the sculpted and the rooted one? I don't know on this one. I just feels like this one could have been a very special release. And I feel like they got greedy on this one here because I just don't think the sculpted one is going to move that quickly. I mean, heck, Joker sculpted the first Artisan figure announced officially still is available for pre-order.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think they need to revisit this Artisan because I mean, now that what is this number 5 or 6 now on the Artisan list for us now overall
think
in
5.
total, like 5, right? Something like that. Like, what's the direction of Artisan other than just the fact that it's
Random.
hair?
It's just
Like,
random hair, limited.
I think they got to.
It's weird that there's only one Artisan figure that does not have a sculpted version. That's the
Right.
Anakin Skywalker.
But that,
Anakin, yeah.
but that one
all
we
missed
already
out on
know.
that one.
They're gonna reuse that sculpt. I've said it a million times. They're gonna
True.
reuse that
Yep.
sculpt a million times real soon. Just
Dark
you
Side will
watch.
be coming.
I think they need to revisit how they package this Artisan thing here because I just feel like if collectors swing and miss on the Artisan, like people almost like just don't even bother. You know, some will go out there and get the sculpted, but I feel like the allure is the chase with these Artisans over here, and I just feel like they might be doing this wrong here. Like, what if? Let's brainstorm here. What would you guys chase? I think personally, what they should do is do one SKU, give you the rooted and the sculpted. That's what I think you should do.
Yeah, I mean, because it kind of defeats the purpose giving you sculpted that's readily available for everybody. I mean, I get it. The Artisan is still the rooted, but it still takes a little bit away from the Artisan, I think. Like you said, Anakin is really the true Artisan figure so far because it's like the one and the only, at least right
just
now.
gonna release them anyway, sculpted. It's coming.
Right? I know, but at that moment, that's all you could get, and it's limited, and it's Artisan. So I don't know. It takes it a little bit. It's nice if you miss out, for sure. Like to get sculpted, and even the Joker. I preferred the Joker sculpted to the Artisan version. So like I get that part, but at the same time, if you want to make things more limited, then I think that's the way to go too.
I mean, look at Jack Sparrow. Jack Sparrow, honestly, you can make the argument. Yeah, 3 SKUs is way too many. And then on top of it, the sculpted one is phenomenal. There's people who flat out just said, this looks better than the Artisan one. Why would I spend an extra $100+ on that one? So I don't know. It just seems like they're just throwing ideas at the wall and seeing which ones stick here because it seems like there's no track to this here. Jack got 3 SKUs. Anakin only got 1. It's just like, why are we doing it like that? I mean, if this is Artisan, why isn't every Artisan like the same exact one? Kind of like when DX first came out, DX was like, all right, you're going to get 2 bodies for makes it different from our MMS line. So with this one here, it's just like they're kind of picking and choosing what they put in the box and picking and choosing how many SKUs they want. It's just like, I don't know. Artisan's unique because we don't have anything right now. You guys all bouncing around? Is that just me?
I think it's just you.
I think it's just you because I see Graham moving fine. You're
Okay.
frozen.
It's interesting. You guys all kind of spanned for a second. I was
Yeah,
like, where did
yeah,
everybody
you're
go?
frozen on me.
D'Lo,
You're
you're still
frozen
frozen.
on visually, but we can hear you.
Huh.
We hear you fine. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Good.
There he comes.
You're back now.
Yeah, but anyways,
Scared me.
I just feels like it's weird that like why isn't it like if this is like a whole new line like an Artisan DX line, why does it feel like they're just kind of picking and choosing what they want to do, just so they can just do whatever they want? Just like if you're gonna do a DX line like they used to do back in the day, like you always knew what you were gonna get. You're gonna get this premium art box. You're gonna get these 2 bodies, so you have 2 different figures. Then they cut it down to 1, but then you're gonna have a sweet diorama. It's just like this thing doesn't really have like an identity, I guess, other than people say, yeah, it's rooted hair. That's it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's just my 2 cents on it there, because I'm trying to make sense of Artisan because I can't put my finger on what they're doing with this line.
I think you hit it on the head. That's all it is rooted hair and limited number. But you can get,
and more
for the most part, sculpted
The boxing better be nice too.
They're like outpricing. They're outpricing in art on some of these figures.
Has any Artisan figure released outside of, I mean, WB 100 Wonder Woman technically wasn't, but has any Artisan figure actually released yet? Or was
Zero.
We're waiting on
all of them.
Waiting on Joker and Anakin.
They're all in the same window except this one. And
tough to
Jack
know about
might be later,
packaging
too.
to this point, but Wonder Woman came a little bit premium, but that was because they had to put the head, in the separate box or the separate
Wonder Woman was nice.
container.
I will say that was like a really nice unboxing with the foam. Yeah, the head separate in the container. All the parts were just. It was really not. It was really nice. I would suspect that. I mean, it seems like that we've talked about this in the past. That was kind of like their trial run of what it's going to be like without calling it Artisan, right?
Right.
So yeah, if it's like that, I'll be happy with it.
Yeah. Well, really quick here before we finish up and keep moving, I want to get Brick's thoughts on this. But Brick, I want to ask you a question because, and this isn't to like pick on you or anything at all. I'm just curious to learn. I didn't think this would be something that you would give 2 shits about, but this is something that really interests you, and you pre-ordered it. So you're in. So I want you to just tell us and tell the chat, obviously, what made you fall in love with this figure?
So the first easy thing is it's Artisan, so it's limited. But I got way more to say than that.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing with this figure is this is a Luke Skywalker that is completely different than anything else we've seen. I think this is probably one of the coolest, most unique announcements we've had since I've been in the hobby. And also it's from a comic book line, when we did not really know if there was going to be sequels or not. This was like the story after the OT. This was it. He pretty much takes up the dark side to try to, defeat Palpatine and basically do what his father was trying to do the whole time is what I got out of it. Now, I didn't read the comics. That's just the brief history that I got out of a little bit of research. So if I'm wrong, I'm sorry a little bit, but I think it's really, I think it's really, really awesome to have a figure like this. I think it's cool too, because I'm a big Marvel guy. So it's all about the multiverse. So to me, this is kind of like the multiverse Luke. It's a unique piece to have in your collection. And, everyone's going to go and let's say I have 6 Lukes, right? Everyone's going to look at all the Lukes and be like, oh yeah, that's a New Hope. That's Return of the Jedi. That's, whatever. And all of a sudden they're going to come across this and be like, oh, what's this one? And you get to have that story. You get to explain it. He's different. And not only that, but yeah, it is Artisan. I do like that limitness and all of that. But yeah, just the kind of history behind it. This comic came out in the 90s. It's pretty sick figure. And I think too that the whole dark side line, I can see why they wanted to try to push this out around that time. I don't even know if it's like the dark side line, but it's still a dark side version of Luke Skywalker. So I can see why they wanted to push this out in a good reasonable time. But I'm sure we'll get another Luke Artisan here one day.
Do you guys so I know we're all curious about it, but would you prefer rooted Luke hair, or are you good with sculpted? Like DLO said, it's tougher when it's that short. So like, is this something you want to see more of? Obviously, we haven't seen this final product yet, so that might just give us our answer when this releases. But I guess, what are your initial thoughts on that? Do we need rooted Luke?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Thank you, DLO.
I mean,
No,
their
look-
sculpted hair is phenomenal. So like, but I mean, I would like to have a rooted hair version of Luke is awesome.
I'm not a fan of short hair. I've said this since Artisan's been a top conversation. I'm not a fan of short hair roots. It doesn't come out the same way it does with a figure or a character that has a proper amount of hair. It just doesn't look good. At the end, I mean, look at the conversation, the big debate about the in-art Patterson Batman. All right, not to go down that crazy rabbit hole again, but like, it's tough because some people say, "Oh, it looks great," and some people say, "No, it looks absolutely terrible." And both parties are absolutely right because obviously it appeals to them. But I just feel like universally speaking, I think long hair looks good anytime it's rooted, just because it's more natural. Wonder Woman looks fantastic. Jack Sparrow looks fantastic. Wanda looks incredible with the rooted hair. I mean, it definitely is the standout of the two versions of her. But when you start playing around with characters with short hair like this, now you're in dull territory where it depending on how yours comes out of the box and how good you are at styling it. And mark my words, you will have to style this figure. The second you put your hands on that figure to twist the neck in a position to pose you want it in, that hair is going to be messy. You're going to have to fix it once you're done. So for me,
over time, there's going to be less and less product in that figure.
True. I mean, depends on how much they're going to put it in now when out of the box. I mean, like when you get something professionally done, they spray that sucker down to the point where that thing is like practically concrete, so you can't mess it up. But I don't know how Hot Toys is going to do it on their side there. It's going to be like for the folks that are getting Artisan, just be prepared. You're going to become a stylist over time. It's going to be a matter of when, to be honest with you, because it's going to require maintenance way more than what you're used to. But I think a short hair one, it's challenging. I want to hold my skepticism until we see the final product, because I want to see it here, because no one truly has an Artisan in hand outside of a Wonder Woman, right? So the big test is going to be Anakin with his crazy kind of hairstyle, right? See how well that comes out, and that's going to be an indication of how these other figures will come out, especially once we get finally to Luke at that point. But for me, for a figure like this, sculpted would be just fine.
Cool. I was just noticing DLO is delayed, so
He's delayed.
Am I really?
Interesting.
Yeah, your words are faster than your
yeah.
visual. I like a couple seconds.
So really quickly out of the panel, who's getting this? Brick, you're in.
I'm in.
DLO's out. Sneaker.
Unless I get $1,000, I mean, I might.
That was going to be my question. That was going to be my question, because we talked about this kind of in our private chat. You said, man, like we were talking about crosshair. You're like, if I'm getting a figure that's worth $1,000, it's gone. So like,
yeah, any
if
figure
this is $1,000,
right
is it gone for you?
100%.
Any figure I own.
Any
right
figure
now.
that I own that I can get $1,000 off of, yeah.
Dang. Also, let me ask you one more question. If this wasn't Artisan and limited and they just came out with the regular sculpted version, would you buy this Luke?
That's a great question. I was actually
that is a good
thinking
one,
that, and
actually.
I think I would, but I think I would wait. I don't think I would pre-order it right away, but I would eventually get this.
That's the other thing about Artisan.
It's a
like,
really
you
cool,
have to
unique
pre-order,
figure.
right?
Yeah,
you have to order it out. Like,
yeah, and you don't really have
a
time to
choice.
think it. It's like, well, I like it, so I'm gonna go for it. That's pretty much it. But yeah, if it was only sculpted, I think I would, because of what I said before. It's just so unique.
The sculpted hair is also the best hair. They've
Yeah, it looks
probably
really
one
good.
of the best
It is.
hair pieces they've done. I feel like Luke's hair is kind of tricky too, like rooted, because his hair is different in a lot of different scenes, and it's messy a lot. So like,
True.
it's just hard. Like this isn't really how Luke's hair typically looks. It's not like neat all the time. It's like kind of messy, and so I think that's one difficult aspect of rooted. Like, what look you want to go for? How are you going to make it look natural? Like DLO
Right.
said.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, I'm going to be passing on this as well. It's just, again, we just talked about, how do we collect Star Wars when all these different figures are coming out, and this is just one I don't have a connection with. So while I do like some of the advancements here with like the split wrists and then obviously the nylon suit, I'm excited for the future. This just isn't the figure that I'm going to be picking up myself. But yeah, let's move it along because we still want to talk delays here. So let's get into Maul, and this might have been a surprise to some people, but I know it wasn't to DLO because he called this one coming out
Nailed it.
last week. I think, yeah, last week.
Mhm.
This is the Maul that we deserve. This is the Maul that we should have gotten originally, but I get it. Can't always get it right the first time. The head sculpt is so much better. I know, like, I've been salty lately about 2.0s. Especially when it's like the Batman stuff, the BVS stuff, when I don't feel like there's like a big advancement in the figure and it hasn't been that long. But this one I can truly see how much better the figure looks. Plus, I was never a big fan of the sculpt with Maul. So this one is amazing. I pre-ordered this with the USB speeder. I'm excited to get it next year, hopefully. But I think the biggest thing, and people have said it, like, the head sculpt is the soul to the figure. So, like, if you're changing that and you're making that, a lot more accurate to the actual character, that's a big difference. Plus, the body's going to be different. It looked like they almost took away the fat suit. The proportions look better. You have a newly designed robe here as well. But, man, just look at these photos. You have the articulating eyes. I love the teeth. I love both head sculpts you get. This is one I really got excited for. So how about you guys? Like, is this something you're excited for? Or do you feel like, no, like, I actually am okay with the 1.0. We didn't need this. Is anybody thinking that way?
No, we needed this.
Yeah, we needed it.
I agree.
That's amazing. Just the wrinkles in his forehead and his horns coming out like the actual mold. Well, I think Hot Toys Hotline was saying it. I don't want to take that from him. He was saying something like the original, like, Ray Parker, the actor, when they were doing the makeup on him, they had like a pretty rough mold underneath his horns or something, like, coming out, and they actually made that more accurate in this. And the designs on his face, the wrinkle, the putty, thank you. But like the designs are much better. It's not so, you see more of the white around his eyes. His eyes are brighter. I love this.
You definitely see Ray Park in this.
The tattoos are much better too.
Yes.
And the color. The color
it's
of the
more
tattoos.
accurate.
Yeah, the color.
Yes, the color isn't going to be as dark. I don't know. Just, it's weird. Like, Hot Toys, obviously they try to get things right, but sometimes it's just pretty far off. But the nice thing is, if you do have the 1.0, you don't necessarily have to sell it because you can use the new head sculpts on the old body. So that's also a win too. Like, you don't just feel like your old figure is just kind of worthless. So that's something I'm also excited about. What else? What are your other thoughts and feelings when you guys?
Can I
see
give
this?
myself some credit here?
Sure.
So I
Pat yourself
think
on
a
the
lot
back.
of us. I think a lot of us knew this figure would come. I always thought that we would probably get a third head sculpt and it would be like the more grimacing teeth. I was half right. So I'm very, very happy we're getting the grimacing teeth more so. They're not necessarily touching each other, but definitely a better look. I like that look more than like that opened, jaw
Just the
there.
angry one.
But just amazing. The USB, the lighting, finally I get a speeder. I didn't get the DX17. I have the DX16. So definitely getting the one with the speeder now. And I think I'm keeping my DX16. I think I'm going to keep him.
Yeah, I agree. I think at this point I'm gonna keep mine too. But even the robe just looks better. Like on the DX16/17, the robe was very poofy. It didn't lay right. So I'm hoping that this one is just an overall big improvement. DLO, you getting this?
1000%. This is the one time I'm not mad that they reissued one of my figures or
Right?
2.0 of my figure.
Just look at how good that looks. Damn.
Yeah, no, like when this came out originally, I wasn't in a place where I had a lot of space for my collection,
What's up, Nick?
right? So like I immediately passed on the speeder, and that was just one of those things that has haunted me for years. Where I was just like, do I pick up a DX17 to keep this one? But then Hot Toys to the rescue with this announcement here. Now I don't have to choose. I can keep my DX16, grab this one with the speeder, make things right. I'll stick one of them on the speeder and I'll have one posed with the rest there. Win-win. And on top of that, I get a free upgrade on my head sculpt because I have two to use. So, like, yeah, honestly, I think for anybody who has a 1.0 and is satisfied with it, that's great. But I would maybe pick up a loose head sculpt just to upgrade it a little bit if it mattered to you. Or if you're, like you said, like me or Graham or Brick, having this here, it's a second swing. And you still don't have to get rid of yours here. So I think this is probably like the most fair I've seen a 2.0 be for collectors, because most people who have this would probably, in my opinion, would keep both, just so you can have one doing each. But
I agree. We're always going back and forth when we get these two head sculpts. We're like, man, I just don't know which one to use, and I'm switching up. Like, this is your opportunity to basically use both at the same time if you do have the 1.0. Now, Sneaker's in a little bit different situation. He's got the DX17 with the speeder. So, like, does it make more sense for him to capitalize a little bit and just move on from that one and just have one? Or do you guys think he should keep that as well?
Sneaker. That's a
He's
silly
already sold
question.
I mean, it's tough. I've been going like back and forth on it of like, because 100%, I do not want the battery speeder anymore. With this being USB, I just don't. I want the updated USB speeder. Also one thing, the speeder has better like detail in it. Like the front panel has a different detailed like sticker. Either if they use a sticker or whatever, it's more detailed. And the USB is just. I do not want to put batteries in. I don't want to buy a dummy battery. I just don't want to deal with that. So I definitely want the updated speeder. What I'm torn on is, do I sell my DX17 speeder loose and keep the figure to potentially put like a second head sculpt on it, or do I? Because then I'm like,
keep it together.
Then I have an incomplete box, right?
Yeah. I mean, down the road, you could just get an extra body.
And I'm honestly what I'm leaning towards is potentially buying a speeder version and a standard version. I'm leaning towards going.
Does anybody want to buy a DX17 from EvilSneaker?
Yeah, if anybody wants a DX17, let me know. Because I think the thing is too is if I was to sell the DX17 and replace it with something, or replace it with whatever version of this, like I can put it towards that, and then it's basically like I'm buying. It's basically. It's basically like I'm buying one, like I'm buying one figure, right? Or do I just, this is the other thing. Do I just put the old speeder back in the box?
I mean, it makes sense. You already have the figure.
But then like,
but the proportions.
This is the thing though.
This
is the thing though. So like, say, like then I'm spending, like, say I buy the new one with the speeder, right? Whatever that is, $400+, right? Like, what's the outcome versus doing like selling it and getting that money and then buying both, or like having to like keep that one currently and then buy the other one? You know what I mean? Like, you're almost like, by the time I sell my DX17, I'm probably kind of like almost breaking even in a way to get the other, like to get two newer ones. You know what I mean? With what I already have into the DX17, if that makes sense.
Christian has the best answer for your problem here. He says, just sell me your
crosser doesn't take up a lot of space. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I could sell the old one and just put that towards one of these newer ones. Like, I could probably sell the old DX17 and at least have enough money to get the standard version of this. And then I could still get like, the one. Because I will say, I do want two of these. Like, I do want both head sculpts displayed. For this, I want one robe on the speeder, and I want one robe off in like Duel of the Fates style, which is a tough thing. But again, this movie, like kind of like what Brick was saying, like Phantom Menace, like this is the first Star Wars movie I ever saw in theaters. Yeah. Like, I'm all in on getting a new Maul figure like this. So yeah, this is kind of what I'm leaning towards, is probably selling the old one and keeping it together, and then at least getting the new one with the speeder. And then potentially considering getting like a second newer Maul.
We got a poll up if you guys think Steve should sell it or keep it. But something that's also kind of under the radar is this comes with two LED lightsabers. So like, I'm a big fan of CCFLs, but at the same time, getting a Maul or an Ahsoka pair is super expensive. You could literally get a figure for the price of those CCFLs. So like, even just the fact that this is now USB-C, maybe not the best technology that Hot Toys uses, but still, like, you can light up your saber too. So like, that's a win right there. So something that just shouldn't be, I guess, thrown to the wayside.
Yeah. And I also, the body, I don't know like what other people think about this, but the body proportions on this figure make me not want the old one too, because the body is significantly better. Like I know people say like, oh, I can just put the head sculpt on the old body. This body is way better proportioned. It's not getting enough attention in my mind.
But what you could do, I agree. The proportions are he's so slimmer.
Way better. Way better.
The other one was like muscular and bulky.
I feel like they took that figure and like from the top and bottom and just crunched him. That's kind of what it looks like. His head too is like kind of scrunched down. It's not elongated like you see with the new head sculpt.
Yeah.
Like look at how flat. It's like
it doesn't even look like him.
Yeah, the like older one is just like.
Isn't that crazy? Like when you see like the more improved one, you look at the old one, you're like, yeah, I don't even see it anymore at all.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, it's like video game graphics. You're like, oh my god, this is so good, and then you look back at it like 5 years down the road, and you're like, God, that was terrible. How did we even think like that?
Yeah, like you could just see like it almost looks like his head was just like squished from the top and bottom, and like it's just a little bit wider. Like the head proportions are just not nearly as good. I will say I still like the screaming head sculpt on the older one. I still think that's just a cool head sculpt in general. But it's probably gonna be going. Also, it looks like the material might be updated on this new one. Like if you look at the collar, the material looks like this might be a little bit of a different material.
You know, the other thing too though is when you say the body's so different, you can put the robe on one figure though. Like your old figure, put the robe on, the new robe.
That's a good point.
And then the other one you have the robe off.
That's a good point.
You're highlighting like that new body too. So like just devil's advocate there.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I think the one outlier for me is having the speeder. Like I don't parting it out and then being stuck with like an incomplete figure. I just don't really want to do that. And like I said, if I was to sell, I got a really good deal on DX17. Like I might be able to make my money back on DX17 with what I paid.
Sure.
So like I could just get that money, put it towards this, and I would be totally fine with that. Yeah.
Something that they didn't like highlight in an actual photo, but they have here on this last one that they kind of snuck in though, like you said, is newly tailored robe with enhanced fitting. So yeah, should drape better, should fit, form fit the body better, but it's surprising that they didn't highlight that in some of the photos. They did with the head sculpts.
It definitely looks better. Way better.
One thing though that I cannot forgive, and it's not going to be a deal breaker, but it's like, dude, Hot Toys, don't be lazy. You just did an amazing job on this figure. Why are you going to skimp out on this? Is the base. I understand it a little bit though with the speeder, but like for the non-deluxe here, where they still give you that huge ass triangular base with the that flooring and or the sand, like it's reused from the original. I'm just like, come on, like I don't know too many people that like those bases. They're too big. They take up too much space, especially when you're trying to put figures next to each other. A lot of people don't use them. I know for mine, I have a custom base for my mall. It's a rectangular base and it looks really cool. Like you would have thought, like, come on, let's go all out. You're giving us 2 new head sculpts. You're giving us a new body, new robes, USB speeder, USB, lightsabers, like, and then you just throw on the old base. Does that rub you guys the wrong way at all?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's a crappy base, so just give us a better base.
The shape is
That's
terrible.
simple.
And you can't say because he's dynamic, because you have War Machine that's on one of them hexagon or octagon little ones too. So
it's okay. The base is okay if you have them like displayed, like standing on the bike or jumping off the bike. Like I think it's fine in that way.
I think with the bike is okay, but
with the bike is okay. Without it, I agree. I do not like the platform.
Give us a round circular base that you're using for all the other figures now. Like that would have been so cool. Can you imagine this mall standing on that circular base a little higher up? I think
especially like they gave this like Artisan Luke that new style base. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I do like about it though is that it's the same price.
That is an amazing fact, Brick. Yeah, go ahead, speak on that a little bit more.
No, I was just gonna say you get all the light up features, you get updated head sculpts, you get more detail in the speeder. Like it's pretty amazing that it stays at 405.
And even the non-deluxe is the same price.
The same. Yep.
As Maul without the speeder too. That was mind blowing to me because of just everything going up in price. Like a $25-$30 range for Hot Toys, but the fact that they keep the price the same, I was pretty blown away by that. DLO, welcome back.
Good to be back. Can you see me? Do my lips match my words?
Much better.
Yes, much better. I am not watching a Godzilla movie anymore. You're good.
What do you mean?
So DLO, we were just talking about all the enhancements here. If Sneaker should sell his 1.0, I'm going to end that poll right now.
Sorry, I thought they were just asking me. Let me see what the results are.
70%, I believe, said yes. He should sell it.
What did he say while I was gone?
This is the thing. Well, my thing is like I could sell because I got a pretty good deal on my DX17. I could sell the DX17 and get like this is the thing. I guess like I know we're talking about putting 2 head sculpts, like one on the older one. I could just sell my DX17 and get basically a new Maul with that money and then just buy another Maul if I want a second one. And the price point is not going to be all that different for me, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like you guys are already in on a standard Maul. Well, I could sell this and get a standard Maul and then still buy the one with the speeder. You know, it'd be a very similar outcome. And then I would have the updates. You know, that's kind of my the outcome for that is not going to be all that different money wise. You know what I mean?
But you said you like that screaming head sculpt.
I do, but like this one is bad. This one's better though. Like I would just go without it.
Okay.
I'm not picking that screaming one over like this one is just these head sculpts are just way more accurate to the film. Like I like the screaming head sculpt from the first one, but it's not like it doesn't have that film accurate like Darth Maul look to it. I don't think. I like it, but it's not like this new one is like spot on to the movie.
So you have the speeder one, so correct? You have the DX17, not the 16. Well, I mean, in your case, I see your point there. Just because, you know, it's not just the head sculpts that you're talking about. There's advances with the speeder too. I mean, it's USB as well too. So, in Sneaker's case here, I would lean and agree with you on that one there, just because I see your point on that. But yeah, shout out to the people who were cheap back in the day and got a DX16 like me. I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm just gonna grab me a brand new one, baby.
I think I got mine for, well, all in. I think I paid $3, but that was shipping. That was everything. That was my all-in price, and that was I think when they were going for roughly $350 plus shipping and all that. So
yeah,
for a Maul.
Yeah,
see, I paid $375 shipped for my DX17.
Like that's a good deal.
Yeah, so I feel like I could get enough out of it to justify if I wanted to get two new Mauls. You know, that would at least take care of the standard one, the newer one.
Might want to leave that out of the sales post, by the way. You know, being a public figure and all. Just saying.
That's fine. Nobody in here is buying it. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to
not for $370 anymore.
And this is what I was talking about too. Of like realistically, when it hit 2.0 hits, like if this sells for $300, am I okay with that? Like I had them in my collection for that long. I'm only losing out on $75. I think that's fair.
I think Brick and I look at it the same way. Whereas if you've had the figure for a while, you kind of like look at that as your charge for owning the figure, like, you know, almost like renting it or just what it costs you to have the figure. So like I'm okay with. I don't want to lose my ass on a figure, but if I've owned it for a while and I take a little bit of a hit, I'm okay with that because that's just the cost of owning the figure and enjoying it for that amount of time. Do you guys kind of agree with that mentality?
It depends on how long you've owned it for.
Yeah,
I think that way there.
I think so too.
Yeah, true.
I mean,
you've had it for a year and you're losing $50 to $75.
Too much.
Really? Interesting.
Too much. Far too much. That's taxes and shipping plus a little bit off the box. Too much. Too much.
Did you guys all get special edition coin?
I don't know.
Yes.
Probably. Because I thought no matter what, like you had so many days to order and then you'd get the gold coin, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you get it from Sideshow, you get the coin.
Does anybody care about the coins?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I mean,
I think
you're not spending any extra money. It comes with it. So if I know it's available, I kind of want it. You know, it's another collecting piece. And from what I hear, Steve, you might have been the one to bring this up. I don't remember, but coins were like a big thing with Star Wars figures back in like.
But yeah, they used to come on like the card backs for some of the older figures.
So it's kind of a cool thing for like those Star Wars fans that remember that. But
sure.
It'd be cool to put in like a little coin case and just have them like lined up for all the figures. I feel like
that would be cool.
I'm gonna probably do something like that with just like a small like acrylic coin case and just put them all in there for
Yeah.
all the figures that I have. I feel like
Get a
that's,
nice little frame, put them up,
yeah, have a nice little frame for them.
Like a
I don't
coin
think
collection.
find something
I don't-
Etsy.
Collecting
Yeah.
quarters.
I mean, I think they're cool. Like to have little. It would just be something cool. Maybe I'll take it to work and have it on my desk or something. I don't know.
Hot Toys has been trying for years to try to make something like special edition, like with
Keychain.
Iron Man. The
Yeah.
Iron Man where like the little holograms, like that was a big deal for a long time. It never really took off.
DX19. You got that.
One of the best ones
Felt
is the
keychain.
Obi-Wan.
Oh yeah,
One
the
of best ones
keychains,
is
yeah.
The Kenobi one coming out with the two lightsaber hilts in the box is probably one of the better
Mm,
special editions.
the Loki one was terrible. You remember that one? We got stickers.
Oh, President Loki, the
Yeah.
I'll give them
premium
my
numbered
kids.
edition.
Yeah.
Numbered edition.
I think the
Stickers.
reason why I pre-ordered this though so soon is this is one I just like. I think the route we're going, where Hot Toys is kind of correcting itself a little bit, is the fact that I just don't want to miss out on this one. You know, like there's so many things going waitlisted, and we can talk whether waitlists are real or not. I've noticed like my waitlist conversions are definitely thinning out. So this is just one that I know I want. I don't want to miss out. I'm okay pre-ordering it. Will I keep my Sideshow pre-order? I don't know. This could be day one. We'll wait and see where we're at with that stuff. But yeah, just throwing that out there too. Like I did pre-order this because I just don't want to miss out. DLO, are you pre-ordering this? Because it would mean a lot if you do.
No, my son.
All right.
No
These are-
pre-order.
What did you
for DLO.
pre-order recently? What did you pre-order recently?
I just grabbed
Well, I mean,
Anakin
Jack
from.
doesn't count, by the way. Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, that's the only one I have pre-ordered. But no, let's see. I threw some money down on tech just to kind of secure the
Okay.
squad, right? So I got that there. And recently, Underground Figures. Shout out to Ray. Just pre-ordered Anakin for episode just because that's around the corner. You know what I mean? Like that's sometime the next 4 to 6 months, depending if we start talking about delays and all that extra jazz in a second here. But I mean, something when we get in like that close to it there, and it's just like, okay, I've seen the trends, I'm seeing what's going on around it, looking at other retailers, seeing how it's starting to become more limited on their shops and stuff like that. Okay, now it's time to maybe secure one. I mean, at some point, like I said, from the very, very beginning, when we started Wolfpack almost a year ago now, I said from the very beginning, I'm not going to pre-order until I'm forced to miss. And it's starting to feel like it's getting closer to that there, where I'm going to start returning to pre-order eventually. How much longer is it going to be? I don't know. But the thing about pre-ordering, when it comes to truly pre-ordering, it's going to be when the secondary market is recovering. And that's where it's still not going to be real for me. Like even if it goes waitlist at a store, at a sideshow, at your local whatever, like that's all good and well. But until the secondary market shows me that it's like, hey, if I miss, it's going to cost me money, and I'm prepared to take the hit. I'm more than happy to do so, just because I need to be sure that I'm absolutely making the right decision and pre-order. Because, you know, I know you guys got your coins, but I would trade $50 off a figure, $100 off a figure, a month down or 2 months down the road when everybody's tired of their figure, over a coin any day. That's just me, just because I'm thinking ahead as far as figures, what other figures I got to buy as well too, right? That's just kind of my mindset. So wherever I can save money, I'm going to save money to get the next figure. But I mean, I forgot where we're going. I'm going on a tangent over here, but yeah,
I forgot where I was going with that.
but basically, like pre-order wise, I just got tech just because I'm at the final stretch of my Bad Batch line. So
Just secure the bag.
just
with that.
secure what am I? There's nothing to play funny business with. I almost missed out on Wrecker, so I'm so close to the end. So just kept tech there. But yeah, outside of Artisan Jack, I just got Anakin because I know it's coming out soon, and I'm seeing that one drying up on the stores. So don't want to miss out on that one because that's a personal one I want to get. That's really exciting for me.
Well, speaking of like all these exciting announcements and pre-ordering and all that stuff, with that stuff comes the sad part of the game, and that is delays. We have been hit over the head over the last couple days with delays, and you know, I thought I've only got like 7 or 8 pre-orders, so I thought I might miss this. You know, I might not be affected by it. But then today I got my delay notice for Mantis. So that was, I mean, it was fine, I guess, 'cause, whatever. Marvel, again, we've talked, Marvel's kind of cool right now. There's all this other stuff that we're kind of into, but I still want this figure. But at the same time, I'm okay waiting a little bit longer. But what really piqued my interest was the fact that she was due, and I think Bane might be the same, but like she was due January to June, and they delayed her July to October. You had a month and a half before you had to delay her. Like usually they'll wait until like it's past. Like they would wait
Really
till
close.
July 1st and they would then delay her. We're a month and a half out and they're already delaying her. So that tells me like these figures aren't even close to being like released. So like, and I correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't Bane January to June as well?
Yep.
Something like that. So
He was.
and there's a handful of other figures that are in this, bundle as well that are just being delayed. So like, I guess anybody, we're just gonna have a conversation. But like, what do you guys think? About this, but what do you think is causing this? What do you think the effect might be about this? What goes through your mind when you see all of these delays coming through, all of these people showing their emails that their figures are getting delayed from Sideshow? Take a deep breath. And
I'll go last, so anybody can talk.
Okay. I'll go ahead. I'll answer the question. What I believe is causing this, or at least one of the reasons. I'm sure there's many reasons. I'm sure they want to make sure it's perfected and all of that. But I think what really caused this is May the 4th. I think with all of these announcements with 000 and these Star Wars announcements where they then pushed some of them to be released right away. Obviously, they were working on them for a while in the dark. So I think by them doing that, it pushed some other figures to the side just a little bit, which is fine for a lot of people because it's Star Wars. Everybody loves Star Wars. So I just, it sucks for me though. I love my Star Wars too, but it does suck for me because I do want, like, I had like 3 figures, I think, that have been delayed. My Spider-Man, Mace Windu, and there's another one, Anakin. So it hurts me. It sucks. I'm a little upset that they pushed all these Star Wars figures out when they could have been working on Star Wars figures that I feel people would care a little bit more about, like Attack of the Clones. So why couldn't we just get those worked on and make sure that they're released around May the 4th? That's just my opinion. I could be way wrong, but it's the timing that kind of shows and tells me that I'm maybe a little close to being right.
So here's the thing too. It's not only figures getting delayed, but it's figures that have been released months ago that Sideshow still doesn't have shipped out to people. People just got their Batman finally, and that came out in December. People are still waiting on Catwoman, which feels like has been out an eternity. So I mean, it's not even just these new figures coming out. It's figures that are released and they're
already
just
been released,
dragging their feet. Now, the one pushback I think I would give to you, Brick, on that theory is we're outside of the Return of the Jedi Stormtrooper, which is pretty much just a reissue. So they've already had all that stuff. Are the ones that they've announced and then released right away, are those all limited numbers? Or has there been some other ones that are not? Because that would be my only thing is if it's
I think so,
number,
because the 000 was limited, right? The Umbra was limited, but still, I mean, they're putting work into it.
But they are doing more. They're doing more than they did in the past because they've always done a couple a year, where all of a sudden you'd get them right away. But I
just think that if it is like staffing and hey, we need somebody to work on this because it's a limited thing, we want this to be out. It's cool. I just wish they would have focused on finishing Anakin faster to go with that Padme. Mace Windu. Like, focus on those Star Wars characters. Focus on the Phantom Menace line that we want to see announced, so that you can show that now. Like, that's what I feel like. I feel like more people would be happier to see that than, an Umbra. But,
right.
Who knows?
Really quick, Thrawn's office is celebrating, let me go back to this, 8 months as a member of the Jedi Knights Watch. So thank you so much, Mike, for continuing to support the channel and helping me do something that I love. I appreciate everything that you've done to just support me and being on the show and everything. He gifted a channel membership to the movie canon, and he's gifted a couple more out here. One to Hammer of God and Mark Attack. So thank you so much for gifting a few other memberships to the viewers here. Appreciate that. With that, you guys get pretty cool perks like emojis, shout outs on all my videos, special giveaways, and then just special input on my streams and videos as well. I'm always looking for more info too on what you guys would like to see from the memberships, so check that out on YouTube as well. But yeah, so thanks for sharing that that brick. I mean, you do have a point there. Like, I just remember some figures were announced, and then like the Armorer, but that was months later, right, DLO? The Armorer came out a few months after, so it still wasn't even right away. So, I mean, he does have a point with, these things are coming out like the next day, so that's something. But
well, and then they worked.
But does
on
that
these
have any
figures too,
effect
right?
on Sideshow? Because some of these are still released.
But even if they're not released, though, they have to work on them enough to be able to show the figure.
Right.
So they take the time to do, the sculpts, the tailoring, putting everything together, that they could have been focusing on these figures that we've been waiting for so long. Just my opinion. Now, that being said, it's also a good thing that they did it this way, because now we do have other figures like that they pushed out. And, at the end of the day, we can all be happy. But if you are wanting your Anakin sooner, it just kind of sucks.
Sneaker, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the May the 4th thing doesn't bother me too much, because I think that from a business perspective, it's like a needed, necessary move. So like, what did all this do? It drove you got to think of the merchandise surrounding May the 4th and just what that does for a company. Like, think about, like, go to the top sellers list on Sideshow, and who was the first two? Darth Revan, Starkiller. So I think, like, the main thing is May the 4th and like all the Star Wars Celebration Power of the Dark Side is just such a huge merchandise driver and money maker for them. It's so easy for them to push stuff out. So I think, like, did it potentially, like what you're saying, did it potentially delay like them getting other stuff done? It's hard to say. Could it be a potential? Yes. But at the same time, from a business perspective, like, doing the May the 4th stuff is a smart move for them, because they're just selling so much product, right?
So why can you focus on like Anakin? Like the Star Wars.
I think some of it is probably maybe like they already know a lot of the orders for Anakin have already happened. Maybe that plays a role in it too. Like, they know what they've already sold for Anakin, right? Yeah. So like the initial pre-order numbers that they have, maybe that plays a role in it. I'm just spitballing ideas of, like,
sure,
maybe they're looking at, hey, we already have our sales for Anakin. This is how many units we're selling. So like, we can take our time on this, versus like May the 4th, we want to prioritize this, because look at what May the 4th has become. It is a like international merchandise seller, right? Like, it's a now Star Wars Day. Like, it's become just this huge thing where, like, I 100% get why Hot Toys prioritized that at the time. As far as whether or not that has something to do with the delays, I don't know. What do I think about the delays in general? It really, to be honest, it doesn't bother me too much, because Hot Toys does a really good job of distracting you with other things that are coming out. I think that's the biggest thing. They release so many figures, so much stuff coming out. It's easy for me to forget about, like, my Bane pre-order. Oh, he's delayed a few more months. While, like, I'm looking at my pre-order list that I have up right here, and like the Mark 6 is supposed to come out May to June, or April to June. So I guess now May to June. A couple other things are in the window. Like, Tech is in the window. The Batman Armory is in the window. Obi-Wan. I know Obi-Wan Kenobi, like, from the Kenobi show, just got pushed to what, May to June, I think. Or is it June to July? I forget. But there's always something else. If you get a lot of figures, there's always something else in the pipeline. So the delays really don't bother me that much. I'm more concerned about what Sideshow's, what they haven't gotten yet. and why that's taking so long. Like, is it shipping international? Like, I have more questions surrounding that of like, well, some of this stuff already came out, and we have been like, I've been waiting for my C-3PO. Graham got his from overseas in February. Like, this stuff is like, there's Toby. Like, Brick, you always talk about Toby. Like, why are people just now getting Toby? It's taken this long. Like, that's more the concerning thing when you have these figures.
It started getting a long time, even though people are starting to get their emails for that. But yeah, Scarlet Witch too. That's another figure. So it's interesting. Like, the shipping thing is more of a concern to me because, like you said, 000 released. I just got my 000 on Tuesday. So yesterday, I just got 000 in the mail. So how can they like get that figure over here so fast to the States? But we're waiting on these other figures for 3, 4, or 5 months to get here and get into their warehouse and get them shipped. Like, that's kind of the perplexing thing to me. So like, that's really the thing that kind of annoys me the most is like, okay, well, this is released. I'm waiting on my figure. Why do I have to wait 3 months? I think that's more the thing that's bothering me a little bit more. So yeah, the international shipping thing right now, it just seems so complicated, and I'm glad I don't work in that area of like shipments being way more expensive, and just like the logistics of that right now seem like a nightmare. So yeah, that's kind of my thought on it. It really doesn't bother me too much to get figures that aren't released delayed. It bothers me a little bit more that there's stuff out that hasn't been delivered yet, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm with you on that. Again, I've only been hit with Mantis. I don't have a ton of pre-orders, so I'm not really feeling it like some of you are. Like, I know Adam said 5. I think How You Figure said 3 figures. Like, you know, Brick's been looking forward to this Anakin, which I don't have pre-ordered. So like Mantis, again, Mantis for me, I love her and I've wanted her for so long, but she's still like a side character. So I'm okay waiting longer for her. But at the same time, if it was like a 89 Batman or something, I'd be pissed. Like, because that's the figure that I got my heart set on. It's something that I really want. So I understand like kind of letting the wallet breathe a little bit and save up. But then I also understand like, dude, I've been waiting for this figure and I just want you to release it already so I can get it into my collection. So I see both sides to it. DLO, you've been waiting patiently. You've really tried not to say anything so that you could just preach. So what are your thoughts on this?
No preaching here. It's honestly, I'm concerned. I'm genuinely concerned. I'm usually the one that preaches patience and all this and, you know, makes excuse. But I forgot who came into the chat very early on. What's his name? Lulu or whatever like that. He said, keep the same energy, you know, Hot Toys is in art. And I'm going to keep the same energy. Genuinely concerned here because despite the fact that we have releases, we don't have them in hand. That is quite bizarre in May. We all, once we kind of get acclimated to how Hot Toys process their schedule, we think about Chinese New Year, we know there's a slowdown, and then eventually, you know, they start ramping up production and ramping up deliveries. By May, we have figures in hand. And, you know, quietly, I just can kind of been observing this kind of, you know, the area here. Like, Graham just got his Darth Vader just recently.
And that was not through Sideshow.
And it wasn't through Sideshow, right? He got it through other means and stuff like that there. He went to Toys Wonderland. I'm joking. He did not. I'm joking. No. I'm teasing.
That's a terrible joke.
I'm going to come back to that in a second there. But no, listen, I'm going to come back to that in a second because that's going to be a valid point I'm going to make about this in a second here as well. Because, you know, I've had Vader since February. Again, shout out to Cody. I had no idea how clutch that was going to be until how long it's taken Graham and some of my other buddies here to get their figures. But it's incredibly bizarre that, you know, we're here in May and sporadically some people have their figures. Some people are still waiting on figures. Some people don't have the figure at all. Selena Kyle, aka Catwoman there. No one has a lot of these figures. So it's really weird how everything is kind of being done. Now, I've heard people have theories on it here. Well, there's smaller batches and they're doing it in waves and, you know, they're waiting for containers. I've heard it all. And that's all good and well. Some of that might be right. Some of that might be wrong. But what is very, very concerning is the fact that we're still waiting on so much. Like, it's not like they're getting to the backlog. They're just adding on to the backlog. And that's where it's getting weird now because now we're hearing delays on figures that have already been released, who have already been announced. And have been for a while, and they're still getting delays. So it's like, where is this going over here? Now, I don't want anybody to panic besides me. I'm going to say, me personally, I'm panicking because it's like, if I were pre-ordering, like some of my friends who have and who's been getting these emails over here, I'm only thinking about, if I don't have these figures paid off, and then I get a massive invoice for 5-10 figures that have been delayed and pushed, and it all hits at the same time, that's going to stink. That's going to be a very, very expensive bad day. And at the same time, you know, the fourth quarter, Hot Toys pushes out everything else that's delayed throughout the year as well too, where there's just an influx of that. So it's almost like you're hitting the perfect storm of delays from quarter 1, 2, and some of it probably 3, and then smashing it with Hot Toys trying to get all their stuff out for quarter 4. That is a lot of money in a small period of time. And again, everybody's finances are different. Yeah. Everybody's finances is different. But what I also concerns me about too is this is how we got to the Toy Wonderland days, where people would go overseas, pay a little extra to get them more. But then that didn't turn out so well for a while, because then there was problems with them and their distribution, and people writing comments on Facebook pages about how terrible and how much they've been waiting for this and that. So Sideshow is on the hot seat, in my opinion. They're definitely on the hot seat here, because the longer things are delayed, the more the figures are not in hand, the more it's eventually going to cost collectors money later on. And more specifically, it may lead to unfortunate cancellations, because collectors cannot afford to get all those figures in that one gigantic invoice that you're going to send them when they're finally ready to ship. So I'm keeping a close eye on this over here, because the guys, again, this right here, this very scenario I'm suggesting is happening right now, is one of the very reasons why I don't pre-order, because something like this can happen if you're not careful, if you're not planning, if you're not financially keeping track of everything that you're putting pre-orders down on. It's, you know, it's going to be a domino effect. And, you know, I think right now, for the sake of keeping the ship on course, Hot Toys needs to make this an immediate priority to start getting these things shipped out to collectors in hand, because, you know, if they don't do that, then what's going to wind up happening is they're going to be sitting on a lot of stock that was already paid for or waitlisted or whatever like that. And I mean, that's, or worse, and worse concern, a lot of tapping out. So that's what I'm concerned about. I need them to get on track for all of us here, because, you know, it's a problem. It's a problem here.
You remember, I don't know, year to 2 years ago when Sideshow made it a thing to like protect your pre-order. If it's delayed, you can get your NRD back. Like, that's a thing too. Like, I think more and more people are going to do what I do, where maybe you pre-order it through Sideshow and you kind of almost use it as your bank. But then once they miss their mark and it's out somewhere else, you can cancel, get all of your money back, and go buy it somewhere else. Like, I feel like that could happen more and more too to Sideshow, and that's going to be a detriment to them, because, yeah, like you said, they're going to lose more and more money. So I just see it as becoming more of a problem and whatnot. But
yeah, and they just took out a
holy shit, you're loud.
Oh,
sorry,
really
scared the shit out of me.
You're good.
A little bit.
No, they just took out a payment for Anakin for me yesterday, and the day after they delayed it. Yeah. I don't know how I got louder. My bad.
No, you're good. You're good.
Really
Motherfucker.
No, but you know, my concern here is, like, I think I'm scared of, honestly, of it going back to the old days. Like I said, people going to these non-reputable places to get their figures, and then, you know, then they have no figure and have no money, and we're back to where we were before, where it was a super toxic situation and people were ready to get the pitchforks out. Like, we just got out of that. I mean, if Sideshow is dropping the ball like this, I mean, collectors are going to do what's best for collectors at the end of the day. They're going to find a way to get their figures, whether if you don't want to give it to them or not. So, you know, I think Sideshow has done so much recently in the past few years to get customer trust back, because before it was like, I'm waiting 2 to 3 months for my figure after Hong Kong gets it. And why do I have to wait here? I can just get it on this website over here with this Hong Kong reseller and then, you know, pay maybe $50 more and get it sooner. Right. And that was the thing. But when they started crapping out, then everybody was pissed off about them. And now everybody went back to Sideshow and there are other places to pre-order and get their figures because it didn't make sense to pay the extra money because the figure wasn't worth it anymore. So, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, is it worth it to you guys to spend $50 and get a figure 4 months in advance from what you would have gotten it?
It depends on the figure.
Exactly, but also it depends on the collector as well too. Because if you're a collector who's getting maybe a handful of figures a year, that's nothing for you. That really doesn't. I mean, that's really fine. It's just the cost of doing business, and you get satisfaction sooner. But if you're a person who's going into Ahsoka soon, who's collecting, you know, prequel stuff, maybe you're looking at that brand new 2.0 BVS Batman. I mean, anything that you can put on the table there that you're interested in, you gotta keep your head in the game because if you sit here and you put $50 down on one figure. You do that enough times, that's a whole figure you lose out on. So that's a real collector specific question on that one there. But yeah, I just don't want people to go back to those Hong Kong resellers and go through that stuff because, you know, you're only going to hurt yourself because they're going to screw you over too.
They're probably eating this shit up.
Yeah, they're loving it. This is like, oh my gosh, opportunity. Here comes a knocking. Sideshow's jacked up. That's exactly how they got into business the first time.
Well, and we've heard from a birdie that like Sideshow is severely understaffed, and you know that could be part of this problem too. Is that they don't have the manpower to be fulfilling orders, or I don't know, but you know that's just another rumor that we've heard too. Is that it's a shit show there too. So who knows?
It's tough. Get your crap together, Sideshow.
Yeah, I mean, I asked in the chat, but I don't think anybody answered me. If anybody knew like the amount of figures that were just delayed between yesterday and today.
So we had Mace, Attack of the Clones, Anakin.
Mm-hmm.
We had Spider-Man, the red and blue suit. So that's 3. We had
Bane.
Who else? Bane.
Mantis.
Obi-Wan from Clone Wars.
Yeah.
That
both of them technically, right?
Yeah, you're right. Actually, both of them. Yeah.
So that's 7.
What else are we see here? You said Bane already?
No. Yep.
Trying to think what else.
There's one more.
Spider-Man, right? Did you say Spider-Man?
I said Spider-Man. I feel like there's one more. That was.
You know what? Hold on. Let me check up something real quick here.
But yeah, 7 at least. But that's a lot. 7's
Adam sent me one where he had 5 alone. So let me see if any of those were ones that we already mentioned.
While you're doing that, Neilorific says, "Isn't it funny that I don't have my C-3PO, but I do have in hand the 000 that undoubtedly used the 3PO mold afterwards?"
Yeah, but that's the crazy thing about it here, because you know what? Like that's smoke and mirrors right there, right? And I was gonna bring that up in a second too, because like I don't think, kind of like to your point, Brick, I don't think it's something where it delayed anything per se. She-Hulk, yes, that is one of them. Absolutely, yeah. She-Hulk got renewed. But I think
I didn't know about She-Hulk.
I think those limited edition ones specifically that was released, like the Chrome Trooper and all that other stuff, the R2, not the R2D, the C-3PO Killer Jordan, whatever they call themselves, the 000, I think you said.
Yep.
Like that's all misdirection, right? Because if you're looking at it from that perspective, like on the surface, everything's fine. Yeah, man, we just did a limited run right now. We sold every one of them and we shipped them all out. Everybody's getting them right now. They're getting their tracking numbers.
Yeah.
What about the 5 or 6 figures that have already been released that we're still waiting on?
Even if it didn't take away time, like Hot Toys doing all these figures, but at the same time, why am I not getting my C-3PO, but everybody's getting this figure that was just released? That's already been released. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and it kind of shows some love the other way around because again, I don't have anything against InArt, so I'm gonna speak on it here. I mean, it's very noticeable when it's 1 or 2 figures at a time. But when it's the flip side and it's Hot Toys, the big boys, and they're behind a dozen plus, and with more to come, more being announced, that's not a good look either. So, I mean, on that front there, which one am I more concerned about? Well, InArt's going to do InArt whenever they get around to figuring out what they're going to do with the InArt stuff. But when Hot Toys / Sideshow together are behind this much, it raises an eyebrow, and it makes me cautiously weary of what's going on.
Could it be a relationship thing between the two? Not to start anything, but I
No.
mean, is that a possibility?
No, I doubt it. I mean, if you know the backstory between the relationship of Sideshow and Hot Toys, they kind of have Hot Toys by the balls. So I don't think it's one of those kinds of scenarios there. They kind of work for them in a sense.
Sure.
But at the same time, I mean, there's something definitely going on that's delaying the process between Hot Toys and Sideshow, because it's not normal by May for us to be waiting for that many figures that have already been released, that have already been, long delivered over there in Hong Kong, to not have it by this point. This reminds me, we're very close to how it was during COVID, specifically.
Right.
When
And
it
you
was,
can't say it's because of the Chinese New Year, because
You
that
can't
happens
say that
every
anymore.
year. And
Right.
that was 3 months ago.
now news-wise, I know they're dealing with a new version of COVID. I've been tracking that on the news as well too,
Yeah,
so
I
that
heard
might
about
have
that
some
too.
connection to it as well. So that's very possible. But again, I don't know. I think there needs to be a statement put out by Sideshow at this point to say what is going on, because I think at this point the list is building far to the point of where there is a cause for concern, and I think collectors are owed an explanation at this point to see what's going on and when we're going to finally start getting figures and what's the reason for the holdup. Because I think at this point you just can't just keep us in the dark with some people getting 5 to 6 delay letters in one day. In one day, that's excessive.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know.
My C3PO video, my review video, debuted February 21st. So you got to think that figure came out about 3 months ago. So I mean, and Catwoman, I think, is even before that. I think Catwoman was, before C3PO. So
Mhm.
people still don't have Catwoman.
Time flies.
Yeah, we're not getting anything.
Right.
No. Sneaker, you got any other thoughts after hearing kind of what
No.
D-Lo's thoughts were?
I don't think so. Hopefully it gets straightened out at some point this year. I think
Well
I think
said,
another
sir.
thing too is like you said, D'Lo, was like another thing like you said is they're
It's like I'm
delaying
ready for
stuff,
bed.
but like they're going to push a ton of stuff at the holiday. Like they're gonna find a way to get it here probably for the holiday. That's
Mhm.
never a problem. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
right.
So
Nope.
that's never an issue. But now that
That's
it's
what-
May, they're gonna take their sweet ass time. Now that it's May, when there's nothing going on other than people's birthdays,
Right.
they're gonna hit that holiday way harder. You know, that's
major.
definitely something.
Yeah.
So Darth Tomorrow says it's probably just our shitty government and our foreign relations with China regarding shipping. But then Thrawn's office says, I'm in
Definitely
shipping.
fixed.
Something is happening in China. I can tell you that for a fact. However, that doesn't explain how these figures like Umbra and 000, etc. are showing up. So, like,
they're
Yeah,
doing
they
something
like
special with those.
expediting these limited
Yeah.
ones. Like,
They did that as far as like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like
no, you're good.
they've done the airlifting before. Like everything is
Yeah.
gone by crate there. Which sometimes what they'll do, they'll pay extra to expedite things via air, which is extremely expensive. But every now and then, Sideshow would do that. They did that for a little while to kind of keep up with the Hong Kong resellers to kind of get people away from going there for day ones. So I think for special occasions like these here, because you got to feed the mob. You absolutely can. Like if they didn't give us these repainted figures, then there you go. I mean, it would be complete chaos. Can you imagine if we didn't get those figures now, how our attitudes and our energy would be right now? Having this conversation, we're all kind of calm a little bit because we just got a couple of drops and people got those in hand. But if
Mhm.
those weren't there today, like everybody on in the comments would be blowing up with where the heck is everything going on, what's going on with everything. But that's by design. They're doing that because it's a super easy process for them. They have the master molds. It's simply repaints and some modifications to an existing figure that you already have. You can easily reproduce like a clone trooper in chrome and in gold, right? And then that's it. You're good to go. There, guys. You see it for yourself. We've just recently got you figures as of this date over here. You're fine. Everything's fine over here. No, it's not. That's easy for you to do. Where's the Anakin? Where's Mace? Where's all the other figures? Catwoman. Everything that we just rattled off a second ago. Why aren't they there? What's going on with those?
By the way, Catwoman is May to June, so it might not even be this month.
insane. I feel bad for guys like Justin, who's dying to get this figure. You know, that
Yep.
poor guy waiting for this figure for that long.
Right.
Sideshow should pay him to get the figure, not the other way around. That's ridiculous.
Right. Really quickly, I want to give a shout out to Valkyrie Magnus for becoming a YouTube channel member of the Jedi Knights Watch. Thank you so much for just taking the extra step to support the channel. Appreciate that. You guys just watching is enough for me, but at the same time, when you take that extra step to be a channel member, it really does help keep the lights on, pay for StreamYard, get equipment, obviously get figures to review. So thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And yeah.
Yes! That's awesome!
Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. But yeah, I mean, guys, this is scary. I mean, there's no end in sight for some of this stuff. Like, you could be waiting 5 to 6 months for your Catwoman. Let's take a look at C-3PO. Let's see where he's at, if you guys don't mind. Some of these that have been out a while.
3PO waitlisted recently, right?
Yeah, he's waitlisted.
May to
Ooh,
September.
Dog.
Wow.
May to September. What
Jeez.
is with that?
Ridiculous. It's crazy, man.
That is nuts. That is potentially.
How are you going to put a
7
4
months.
month? How do you put a 4 month shipping window on an already released figure?
Right.
That's
That's
just
alarming.
Insane.
That is alarming. What else?
We're
got? What
talking
else has been out for a
February
bit?
to
Vader.
September is essentially the window. That is just, that's asinine, man.
Vader.
That's out of
May to
control.
June.
3PO May to September. That is just, that's
Unacceptable.
outrageous. It's outrageous, man.
That's
It's 'cause he's
bonkers, man.
It's because he's die cast, heavier to ship, so they're
Scarlet
shipping them in
Witch.
smaller batches.
Scarlet Witch
Oh.
is a forgotten one. That's been out for a little bit.
They don't want to
Me
ship
too.
the die cast.
It costs too much. Brick, when did Scarlet Witch come out?
Oh gosh, I can look up the video I
Is that
made
March?
for, but I was gonna say March.
So maybe not as long ago, but
I think it was the end of March, but I know I've been waiting 10 weeks.
keep in mind,
It's
I don't think these
released,
are even the
so
delayed
whatever that
ones.
is.
These are just ones that have been released for a while, and there's just no end in sight. So, is this Batman still on track?
Mhm.
Batman's May to
For now.
September, so we're just getting into the.
What's
ones
going on with
before that.
Padme?
Yeah, let's take a look at Padme.
Yeah, see that one's weird because I got Padme from Sideshow within 3 weeks. So like these small batches, DLO, that we
Mhm.
brought up, like it's true. Like I don't know how I got her, and people are waiting. Whereas some people have gotten Toby and I haven't.
Doesn't even
like
say.
I just
So
I get it.
you guys remember when I told you my wife was going to get me the Batman for my birthday?
Yep.
So she ordered it at a store online, and it popped up at my local store. So I wound up buying that from there, and I said, let's move it to another figure. So I have her put it on Padme. That was 2.5 months ago now, since that conversation with that retailer. Now
Jeez.
I got her over the weekend at my store again. So basically now I got to switch my pre-order that she did for me for my birthday present to another figure. So it's weird because it's just like you're either really lucky or really unlucky with this here. Like there's no rhyme or reason to any of this stuff here. It just seems like if you get first batch, you're good. If you don't, you're going to be waiting months for anything. And that is just not a good feeling.
Right.
I
It's
hate to
weird.
endorse spending more money, guys, but just as a cautionary thing, if you have any figures that are pre-ordered that have been delayed or whatnot, or have been pushed back, I would recommend, just because it's going to happen, it is 100% going to happen, I would recommend put some of these figures on payments. I know it sounds crazy to give more money to Sideshow, but you're going to be grateful that you did
True.
when you get that invoice for multiple figures at one time, and all you've got is about $50 in NRDs on figures, right? So, because it seems like that's where it's going to lend to. It really feels like you're not going to get one figure per week and all that stuff, and get your fun little email, hey, it's coming to our warehouse. You're going to get hit. A lot of people are going to get hit with massive amounts pre-orders there at the same time because they're going to get it all in a batch. They're going to say, hey, all the figures are late. Here you go. That'll be $1 million, please.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, the Scout Trooper that we talked about earlier, I mean, that's May to September, so that could be pretty far out yet, too. So, just tough to say. Let me just check back in with the chat here. It's heavy on delays. Oh, don't say that, Adrian. That means Batman 2.0 is going to be delayed. More than likely, even though it shouldn't because it's a 2.0.
I hope that's released soon to go with the Batmobile. I need something.
She came out in December, I think. Is he talking about Catwoman, maybe?
I think Catwoman was like right there at the very
January,
beginning. I thought it was, I think it was
February.
January too. No, I think it was January.
It wasn't. Sean says, I see no difference in pre-order and delays now versus past few years. Not sure why we are owed anything. It's the way they've always done business. I don't think it's been like this. Not that I
Not
can
this
remember.
far out, Sean. Like, you're right to an extent there. I mean, during
Here
that
and
Chinese
there.
New Year, sure. But like by May, like that's when things start picking up. Because you're right. There's a dry spell in the beginning of the year. You're 100% right. It's always the first couple months are a few quick announcements, maybe some layover releases from the prior year. Then we go silent for Chinese New Year. Production starts to pick back up. And then eventually we start getting figures around this time of year. This is totally different. This is all a massive email delay this time. So any other year, I would 100% agree with your assessment there, Sean. But I think this one here feels different. It just really does.
Right, and delays happen. I get that. And like here and there, a figure would take forever to get from Sideshow. Like Wonder Woman 84 was one of them that just took a while. But like this is just like consistently every single figure basically, with weird
more and more
exceptions.
are
Like
Yeah, it's
taking a
not the
while.
right way to do business.
like
just a
Darth
lot
says,
even
he
if
just
it's
got his
been a thing.
Padme from Underground last week, which
Yeah, me too.
is supplied from Sideshow. But I don't think everybody has their Padme figures from
Well,
Sideshow.
it's also weird, like how Graham, you got your Vader from a local comic shop. Probably got it from Sideshow. I got mine from my Vader from excuse me, I got mine from Comic Concepts, who gets theirs from Sideshow as well. So it's just really bizarre how
Scarlet Witch right
just
away.
the randomness, of like who gets it when, and like I remember
Very
Underground
random.
shipped out their Vaders relatively early too, versus some other places. So it's just interesting.
X-Men. Personally, I'm hoping that the Guardians figures get delayed so I can get my NRD back when I cancel them.
Ouch.
Yeah.
I think that like that one shipping window, whatever one we saw that was 3PO, May to September for a shipping window on a release figure, that's where it's like, what's going on? That seems
I've never
that
seen.
seems
I've
very
never
odd.
seen that.
An
before.
expected to ship 4-month window for expected to ship. Like, where are they coming up with that information?
Dude, where's Black Adam? No one's saying that. Where's Black Adam?
Yeah,
No one
where's-
has it.
I got my
That's
Black
right.
Adam.
You got yours. You're the only person I know. Well, maybe I
Yeah.
lie. Maybe a few more, maybe a handful of people I know there, but everybody else is waiting. I'm waiting for mine. You know?
It's crazy.
I'm checking that one right now. The deluxe version doesn't have a date. It just says it's waitlist. Yeah, there's no dates on those.
I mean, it kind of started with Batman. Well, I guess some of that was Chinese New Year, but Batman was December and then not arriving till like late April, early May for people. You
That's
know,
true. That was really the
But
start.
that, I guess that was like kind of Chinese New Year time too. But yeah, it's taking forever on some of these.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was a good call getting that C-3PO pretty much day one. So
I mean, because didn't you also cancel your 3PO because it was delayed?
no,
Yeah.
that one I just canceled because I kind of the writing's been on the wall for a little bit too this year. Just getting sick of waiting, so I just canceled that one, and I was able to pick it up for about the same price anyway. So it wasn't really a big deal.
Yeah, King Killer brings up a good point. He said, honestly, the delays give me more time to get more money, and that's
True.
the other side of it as well
Just
too. That's,
plan.
that gives you more time to kind of get your stuff in order and stuff. And absolutely, that's for sure. That's what I was saying. Like if you have an option to do a payment plan, maybe it might be a good idea to just kind of throw some money at summon a figure so they're kind of off your books.
It just
So it kind of frees you up in case something drops.
It's just
So-
really.
it just
it's
worries
really
me,
hard to-
DLO.
Oh, go ahead, Brick. Go ahead.
It just worries me, DLO, because of what you said before. Like, yeah, these delays are nice because you can find your way to get some money, but then it falls with the Ahsoka line, the Guardians line, and now you got like 4 figures to add on top of that line. If that line comes out at the right time, then you're adding 4 figures if you didn't already pay that figure off. So it's scary.
Sure. Yeah, it can be here, but I mean that's where you got to take these emails seriously because you got to think about all the other stuff that's on your wish list that has no delay. That it's going to be delivered on time because something will be delivered on time, and you're not going to think about that because you're thinking about all the figures you have delayed. So that's what I'm saying. If you're in the position to do so, take the time to kind of get some of this off your books, and as it gets closer to release time and eventually shipping to you, you're in a good place. But
Sure.
yeah, because I don't want
I've
anybody to lose their
definitely-
figure because of that, because that's not your fault. That's theirs.
I've definitely done more payment plans lately. I don't pre-order. Yeah, I think I only have like 8 pre-orders on Sideshow, but I have been doing more payment plans just to kind of balance that out, and especially with like the Jack Sparrow, like paying that figure off the rest of the year. But still, it's going to be so much sweeter when he does come out, and it's like I'm
Paid
just
for.
there and ready. So I've definitely been kind of doing that a little bit more just to kind of be responsible and more disciplined, so that I'm not just waiting and then buying figures in the meantime, but then not paying for those figures that I've pre-ordered too. So quick question though, the Avatar figures, Brick, I thought you said they were close.
May to June.
May to June.
So those were delayed too, because
Were
now
they
they
delayed?
say July to October.
Oh,
They say
great.
July to October now.
They say
Oh.
July.
That
I wonder.
that must have
I wonder
just,
if anybody got
that
their
must
email.
have just happened.
Zord,
They weren't like that
check
today.
Your emails.
So those are July to
Man.
October, because I remember Brick saying like, oh, those are pretty much like right around the corner. But
Yep.
yeah, looking at them,
Wow.
this one still says May to June, but what's her name? Natiri got pushed out, and so did this Jake. July to October.
Man. I kind of wish I would have
So
pre-ordered those figures. They're cool.
yeah, they look pretty badass. Any final thoughts on?
Well, Zord said he got an email.
Uh-oh. What do we got?
I
So 9, or I guess 10.
yeah, double digits.
Dang.
Sean says, why pay a payment plan versus just keep it in your funds saved knowing you owe it? Meanwhile, it's still your money working for you. I just like putting it in a place where I'm not going to touch it. So like I like doing the payment plan sometimes and just chipping away
Dude,
at it.
Yep.
To
I
each
am
their
so
own. If you want to keep
sporadic
it in your own
and-
bank account, that's perfectly fine. But
Yeah.
I just like to be able to put it towards it and see that it's coming out. And yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like it's easy to say just keep the money, but
Yeah.
like I mean, we all fall victim to, oh, there's a figure that I've been looking at, or you find a figure for a good deal,
There it
I'm going to
is.
get that figure.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep,
That's a really
guilty.
easy trap to fall into.
Mhm.
Yep.
Like it's to say realistically, I'm going to save this money for 6 months because that figure got delayed that far. It's just, I feel like for a lot of people is not that it's unrealistic. I just feel like it's tough to have that discipline, especially now when you have like not just collecting, but like life in general of what's going on. Like with all the prices, everything being more expensive, like that money is like, it's hard to, I think it's hard to keep that money and say like, I'm going to use it. I'm going to keep it, you know,
Yeah.
stationary and not use it when there's other stuff that you could
Yeah.
use it on.
Yeah.
But I mean,
There's
I'm
other
the same way-
hobbies too, like if you collect other stuff.
Yeah, but at the same time, I am like you guys. All you're saying about payment plans, that is not my way to go. I do not do payment plans. I do not like spending any money on any figure until it actually drops. But the downside of that is, like DLO said, getting hit with 3 figures at once or 4 figures at once does not feel good to have happen. But then again, I just do not like kind of like to Sean's point of, like, I'm going to be ready for that somewhat to like some extent. You know what I mean? It's not
Mm-hmm.
like I would get like I'm not going to take a hit that's going to like ruin me financially, if that makes sense. Like I have some plan in place for that, but it gets really tricky. It's not easy to navigate.
And it's just nice to have options for everybody. Some people use the
it's good to have
plan,
options
some
for everybody.
don't.
100%.
It's just good to have different options.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I don't knock payment plans at all. I think it's a great option for people who, like you guys are saying, easier to just put the money away. You know it's there. You know you're using or you have it towards that. You're done with it. Easy way to say disciplined. I think it's great option to have.
Yeah, I think it's really more for those collectors who rely on having, specific funds available at the time there, just because, not everybody can do 3-4 times, if they, even with the best of balancing here, not everybody's finances are the same. And you got to remember, you're getting financial advice from the guy who doesn't pre-order. So I'm looking out more for the people. Yeah, well, you kind of are. I'm kind of giving out the Goldman Sachs of the hot toys world right now. But no, I'm just for me, I'm more concerned. I want to make sure collectors are happy. I want to make sure collectors are happy about collecting. And sometimes that just means, having to give out some advice on something that maybe I necessarily wouldn't do, or maybe Steve, you wouldn't do yourself, or maybe somebody in the chat wouldn't. But I mean, it could help somebody out there who might be in a situation where they might be feeling overwhelmed. They might be stressed out about this. I mean, those are things to absolutely consider. So for the person who may need some guidance as an option, that's something they can explore.
Yeah, and for me with pre-orders, it's nice because I can sell to my wife that I'm spending $100 to $150 a month on pre-orders at worst, at like the most, than saying, "Oh, 2 figures came out this month, babe. We got to put down $700."
That's a good point.
It's like, what? $700? Where if I tell her 80 to 150 every now and then, it's oh yeah, no problem.
We all got a boss.
Right.
Yep.
We all got a boss.
And I know some people too. It's like 700 is not that big of a deal, but like to me,
can I say something really interesting, weird fact? Sorry, not to cut you guys off.
No,
Like
not
going
at
back to this Avatar figure.
Mhm.
Natiri, the deluxe version is May to June, and the collector edition is July to October.
And it must be the same with Jake.
So like one version is. Let me look at him too. Let me check.
And while you're looking at that, the Batmobile, which
It is.
out, is made in September for Sideshow. So you could be waiting a while on that too.
You want to know one more thing about the Batmobile? Another weird weird Hot Toys decisions is on Maul they take the speeder and they update it USB. On the Batmobile they just
Right.
keep that thing battery powered.
Straight reissue.
It's just very weird. Why not make that a USB? That would have been much better, right? It's just
Money, my man.
interesting.
Short answer, money.
money.
So I'm looking at Collected Joey's page here. Shout out to Collected Joey. He
Shout
always
out.
put out this nice little list out here. So on the list he recently put out, maybe no more than 2 days ago, of the estimated shipping here. So far, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You said Mantis, right? 7.
Yep.
The
She-Hulk.
She-Hulk, I had her there. So far, 7 of those are on that list there. 7 on this list. So the list he just put out 2 days ago, already 7 on this list here. Then possibly more, like the Avatar and all that other stuff here. Crazy. Absolutely nuts.
That's more than the norm. Well, anything else you guys got? Now that Brick left.
Yeah, absolutely. I've
What?
got questions. How do we feel about how Hot Toys did with Star Wars May 4 celebrations here? Do we think they nailed it? Does anybody feel like there was something left out there that could have made this go over the top here? Are we satisfied with what we got?
Dilo, why don't you just give your answer first?
Well, was there anything?
What are you
other
waiting
than
for,
the-
Hot Toys? Okay. There's no bangers. There's no bangers.
Right.
0 bangers. Why? Answer me now.
Wait, you don't think like Darth Revan's a banger? And Starkiller?
For me and you,
I don't think those are
1,000%.
widespread.
Oh,
I
you
think
just
those
mean
are
like a
widespread
mainstream
figures.
global like for
Right.
everyone?
Yeah, like it's cool that we got Darth Revan. You know that's on my list, bro. But I mean, that's not gonna be for everybody.
Yeah, like a mainstream.
You can say Darth Maul to 2.0, sure, but I mean,
that's
again,
probably the one.
It's 2.0.
That's
still.
probably the
but
main
it's
one.
a 2.0 though. It's not like something new. Like why?
You
where,
wanted the Padawan. You wanted the Queen Amidala. You wanted like stuff.
hell
like
yeah,
that.
Brick gets
That's
one.
good. Yeah.
Where's my Obi? Where's my
Well, those
freaking?
are gonna happen,
where's
though.
both of my Obis?
But
Where's
they should
1
have
and 2?
happened now,
Yeah,
Stephen.
I mean, the thing is, like, we got all of what we just got, and then they're still going to do Phantom Menace 25th, so we're going to get even more beyond the event that's
You
Phantom
sure
Menace.
about that?
yeah, dude. You swear my Hot Toys cares about anniversary dates,
Right,
dude.
they
you
don't.
like you. They don't,
Look at
dude.
Return
So
of the
you think we're
Jedi.
only getting Maul and it's done?
Well, no,
No,
but
we'll get
No, I
Qui-Gon
mean,
as well.
That's
not
what I'm
just gonna
posing
give
this
you
here.
all
Like, do
these
we feel
figures.
satisfied? Because I don't think there's enough. I think it
You want
started off
more?
hot.
Oh,
No,
man, yeah.
100%, dude. I feel like when we
Keep going,
first started
D-Lo.
getting these announces, like it felt like, oh man, we're getting some hot stuff this year. Last year, freaking Commander Wolf, barf.
Deal,
Clone
you
War-
want quality over quantity.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knows. Brick's. Let's Brick talk for the rest
More.
of the show here because he knows what he reads my mind. He gets me. But like, dude, I don't think there's a single one in that list, in my opinion, that every Star Wars Hot Toys collector is going to at least get that one figure. Like, I don't think there's one that everybody's going to pick up. Some will pick up Revan, some will pick up the Luke,
Stormtrooper.
some will pick up a Trooper here. But like, where's the bombshell? Where's the Han Solo? Where, you know what I mean? Where's the Han Solo drop from Return of the Jedi? Where's that banger that everybody will all pick up? It's not there in this list. You guys don't agree with that? You think you're happy with this? What
I'm
this
not
list they
happy
got?
with it. Maul
All
was
right.
the only one I
I
cared
wouldn't
about.
say, yeah, I wouldn't say I'm happy with it, but it is a heck of a lot more than we've gotten in the past, so I'm cool with it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, they don't have a great track record of like bangers on May 4th. Like they
No,
didn't
they
really
don't.
do much
They
last
really
year.
don't.
Padme and Anakin was great 2 years ago. I thought that was awesome.
Oh, was that May the 4th?
That was May the 4th. Well, closer to like April going to May, but you get the idea.
close enough. Yeah.
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 Like, I don't know. Like,
Just never trust
Okay.
Hot Toys to
This,
do
month, this
right.
month, this month we'll get some more Phantom Menace, and everyone will be very happy.
I hope so.
Justin made a good point in the comments. The actual anniversary of Phantom Menace is May 19th, so I wonder if
they
like, they're
don't
gonna
care
do-
about anniversaries,
they-
bro. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like,
They're getting this is Obi-Wan's coming, man.
Until this year.
yeah.
All of a sudden.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I was saying before, like I felt like they started off hot. Like the Revan, awesome. Star Killer.
Dark.
He is cool though. I like him a lot. I want that one.
He's
I really
badass.
want that. But yeah, Star Killer, that was out of the blue, but I love it. Great. But then you do your typical clone trooper. It's a chrome one. Okay, whatever. You get easy money. I get it. I'm not gonna get mad at you. You do what you gotta do. Then you got this really cool Luke, right? Then Maul was there. It sounds great, but I just feel like there could have. I mean, it feels like you're missing that statement piece that says, out of everything they got, everybody in the community is excited about this one over here.
Did we
I
get
just
6
feel like-
troopers? Death
How many
Trooper-
troopers?
Yeah,
I think
Trooper
6. Death Trooper, Stormtrooper,
Hold on.
2 clone troopers,
Mm-hmm.
gold chrome. Is there one I'm missing? Oh, Scout Trooper Commander. Does he count? Are we counting him from
No, you
Jedi
can't
Survivor?
count.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
so we're talking 5, but still with that one we've gotten
More-
6 over that span of time with the Scout
That's
Trooper.
that's a release, not an announcement, though. That was a prior year. Yeah, I think that was last year.
Well, I mean, like the other ones were releases too. Like the chrome ones were instant releases.
True, but they were
Um,
announced at the same time too. So technically, kind of one and the same. Wouldn't
Oh,
you
so you're
agree?
okay. So if we're going off announced, and then we also got BT1 and we got 000. So we got 2
Mhm.
2 new droids.
Right.
I mean, the biggest banger is Maul as far as like global Star Wars
I agree.
fandom goes.
Which is nice, but
But I mean, I'm happy with.
And we got
overall
a
what they've
Grievous
done.
something we've
tease,
seen
right?
before. It would have been nice if we would gotten like something new, but something a little bit more globally known.
yeah.
know?
Like an
It's
OB.
good. That
That'd be
I
would've
just
been cool.
I'm not really too concerned about May the May the 4th. I'm honestly happy that they did all these figures for May the 4th and left it open for Phantom Menace 25th anniversary and didn't just use this event as like, oh, here's our Phantom Menace 25th anniversary, because now we're going to get even more Star Wars figures with the anniversary.
What are they really going to do for Phantom Menace though? What are they
I think
really
that
going to do?
we were
Obi and
I
Qui-Gon for
I forget
sure.
when I was talking about this, but like
Right.
this is like this is prime time for prequel figures. If you really think about what the fan base is right now, everybody right now, there's like a prequel uprising, right? Everybody loves the prequels. If Hot Toys doesn't recognize that and they drop the ball and only do like 2 to 3 figures, that is just a horrible move. Like, think about just how it's been, right? The shift has kind of been towards more prequels. They did so many things for Attack of the Clones. You have 2 figures for Phantom Menace, one of the main 6 original movies, before they did the sequels, obviously years later. You have got to capitalize. You cannot just do 2 figures from this line. There's no way they just do a Maul and an Obi-Wan and leave it at 4 figures for Phantom Menace and then not revisit that for a while. Like, this is like, with what they did for Attack of the Clones, which is arguably the worst of 1 through 6. You don't think they gotta drop multiple figures for Phantom Menace? It's the one line that's lacking right now. The one line that doesn't have figures is the Phantom Menace.
There's reason for that, though.
You have to drop a bunch of Phantom Menace figures for 25th anniversary. It is the time to give Phantom Menace actual releases or actual announcements, because we have Darth Maul. Well, now we have 3, and 2 of them are Darth Mauls. So like, you have to get more Phantom Menace figures in the pipeline for the huge prequel fan base right now. That like right now everybody's talking about, like, everybody obviously knows how the prequels are now. There's a lot more love for the prequels. Got to recognize that and give us more figures.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to agree with you. As much as I'm not crazy about the prequels as some people are, still OT guy myself personally, but I respect them because, I mean, Revenge of the Sith is one of my all-time favorites out of any Star Wars film ever made. That's just, for me, it made up for 1 and 2, in my opinion there. So I kind of give a pass to the prequels just because how darn good, how much I love the part 3 there. But I mean, as far as for episode 1, because you say we got to get a bunch. Now that's where I'm not convinced we need a bunch. And when I think of bunch, I'm thinking about, can you name 5 outside of the ones that we got? Qui-Gon's already, and don't cheat with a 2.0 over Qui-Gon or something like that. Just like original stuff that we haven't got yet.
Padawan Kenobi, Padawan
right?
Kenobi, Jar Jar Binks, Queen Amidala,
Anakin,
young Anakin Skywalker, and Watto. That's an easy 5 right there.
Those 2, won't happen.
You said give me like 5 bangers. That'd be 5 bangers right there if they could actually do them.
Give me 5 realistic bangers then. If I got to be so damn specific.
Could they also do?
I think you got 3.
They're not doing Watto. They're not doing young Anakin. They'll do another Qui-Gon. They'll do Obi-Wan.
Shmi Skywalker.
I even think Queen Amidala is a stretch.
Could be. I think Jar Jar's got a better chance than Queen Amidala.
I agree.
I think
so
we're
cool,
getting,
man.
Watto's cool. I think we could definitely get a Queen Amidala, especially seeing the third party do it. We could get.
I mean,
I'd really like a C-3PO again. I'd like another one.
Yeah, that's another one.
I'd like that one. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Also, I mean, like, this would be the perfect line to do an Artisan. I don't think Riley Watto is a banger, bro. You gotta put some respect on Watto. Also, like, yeah, Artisan Qui-Gon is if there's one Star Wars figure I have that I would like to see Artisan, actually probably be episode 2 Obi-Wan. 100%. But then
hell yes.
Yeah, episode 2 Obi-Wan would probably be like my number 1 Artisan that I would love, but Qui-Gon is like the Phantom Menace 25th anniversary is the perfect time to do an Artisan Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
That figure needs work, man. The head barely turns because the hair is, the hair piece. It's a great figure. I do love the figure. Great figure.
Do well though. That's such a figure that you can easily get on the secondary market. I don't know if that's a big enough a hit. I think Maul and Obi-Wan, that's where it's at. But I think
also, Droidica. I see in the chat like Droidica. That's what a lot of people want.
That's way too much R&D.
Also, the B1 battle droid, the tan battle droid, that could easily come out for Phantom
That would
Menace.
be a good one. Yep.
That's a really easy one that they can do.
Man. Jar Jar, I could see with like little droid head around his ankle.
That would be awesome,
like,
man.
That would be cool.
I think Jar Jar's definitely higher up. I mean, I think Queen Amidala is a stretch there too, just because the work there.
You could use the same head sculpt, just repaint it.
I mean,
not
that easy. She's like 14 or 13 in that movie.
But if you put all that white on her, though, you're not gonna be able to tell age.
Natalie Portman.
Yeah. See, I'm just saying, like, if you put all that white,
the
dude,
dress, the outfit.
she's beautiful. She's a beautiful figure, but no
Now
one is
paint
gonna.
that white though.
No
paint that
one
all
can
white.
tell me.
Girl.
Look, you're not gonna tell me. Hold on. Crap.
Crap.
Ski. All right. She's beautiful, but no one is gonna tell me this is like.
14-year-old Natalie Portman.
Thank you. This is grown ass like Black Swan, indie darling Natalie Portman, Oscar nominated Natalie Portman. This is not teenage Natalie Portman. No, sorry. I just you cannot.
That's also
no
not
way
Attack
use
of the
this.
Clones Natalie Portman, and they still
Not
did it.
even, dude. That's the point
That's
I'm
what I'm
making.
saying. But
Liz
if
Bray,
you
it's
make
not
that
her.
all white, you're not going to see age as much either. You can make
Oh,
that.
that's a
look
fair
young.
point. That's a fair point. Yeah, but I
Riley
don't know.
wants to know who on the panel would buy a Hot Toys Grievous.
In a heartbeat.
That's easy. That's an easy cop, man.
And that's one of my most anticipated ones.
50-50 for me.
I wanted to do it so badly. I actually bought the Sideshow,
I
and
probably would.
yeah,
I probably would.
50-50. I might not.
Can we get some respect for Christian's comment though? Newt Gunray banger.
Yeah.
Respect.
well, that's cool. I respect
That's cool.
that. That's cool. I got no hate for that one. Rich is
I
good
love
dude.
Newt Gunray, dude.
I think Anakin's mother. I mean, that would be a banger of a figure.
Shmi would be cool,
realistic.
man.
More realistic than Anakin himself.
Who else could we get from Phantom
Imagine.
Menace?
It's harder than you think, dude. You see, that's the point I'm trying to make. It's like it's not that big of a library you can go
No.
by. I mean, Clone Wars is Attack of the Clones is a crappy Star Wars movie. Probably the worst out of the prequels, like you said.
Thank you.
But there's a million things you can make out of that. It is
Yeah.
a money factory over there on that
Wow.
side.
No, there's just. I mean, I think when Phantom Menace came out, it was a lot of like CGI was the new thing, and they really just made these different looking characters, and I just don't see Hot Toys taking the time to really do them. And none of them are necessarily iconic.
You know, it'd be cool, Senator Palpatine.
Amidala is iconic.
Senator
I've-
Palpatine.
I've said that a
But
million
like-
times.
Like Watto, and
Still
Senator
my
Palpatine.
yes.
they're not iconic. So
But
But
to get a
yes, I
young
buy that.
Anakin would be iconic to have with all the other Anakin figures and have them
I
like.
agree.
You know,
I just think there's something else that holds that up.
Also, another thing is like you could take this to you could take this opportunity to make some Jedi Council members from the Phantom Menace. Like, come on,
Right on.
come
Yeah.
on. Like
Yeah.
you want to make some
I like
bangers,
that.
make the Jedi Council in Random 25th anniversary.
F
Phantom
yeah.
Menace.
Now you're cooking, Steve.
There you go.
Throw out some more
Make
stuff
some
like that.
Make some
Respect.
freaking
I like
Jedi
that one.
Council members.
Like I don't see them making.
That's a
this at
dope
all,
answer.
but-
I love that one.
That's
I-
one that like we have not gotten. Like, yeah, we have not gotten some of them.
Yeah,
but
that's
they,
pure.
they've
dude.
also made some
Good answer.
random ass Star Wars figures that aren't really iconic. You know what I mean? Like we could. I mean, IG-11. You're telling me I have IG-11, but not a Queen Amidala? Like,
Mm,
come on,
it's true.
not a Droideka, but we have an IG-11. Like,
I can't think of the what you call it, the guys from the Separatists, the alien looking guys with the big eyes. I can't think of their names right now. You know what I'm talking
What?
about? The aliens that are with the Separatists. You know, like when they got killed in Revenge of the Sith. You remember? We just want peace. You know, you remember those guys?
I don't know. I forget what their species is.
Like, Palpatine, both of those peace.
Yeah, that's like Newt Gun. That's like Newt Gunray. Who said?
Thank you. Okay.
They call
They're-
me Queso Blanco. My lord, is that legal?
there you go.
There you go.
That's
Ooh.
perfect.
My
I
lord.
love when we go into impersonation. It's always a good time.
Newt Gunray is one of the best voices, man.
Hmm.
Now I'm curious. What is he? What is his?
Mm.
Nemoidian. There you go. My lord.
I know this is off there, but I kind of want them to throw in like some OT there. Can I get the Admiral, please?
There's still a lot in the OT. They could
There's
do.
just so much still there that I want that just like before some of this
Memorial
prequels up.
Guard.
Dilo, are you getting a?
Freya.
Are you getting a dewback?
Yes, I am.
Are
I'm
you?
excited about that? Yeah. I got a whole thing mapped out what I want to do with this. This is going to be completely remapped once I get some more cases in. But yeah, I've got some big plans.
Tilo coming through.
I just want my collection to look pretty now. I'm in my pretty phase.
Give us freaking Plo Koon, man. Kiadi Mundi. Come on. Come on.
Yeah. What he said.
Plo Koon.
Plo Koon would be dope. I mean, they've teased other Jedis before too, man.
They teased him too. He's in the graveyard, man.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
I know this
Long
is
time.
dumb. I know this is dumb, guys, but look at that.
Bro,
Those
can
are
make a
5
line.
figures that they could,
brought to
6
you
figures they
by
could do right there.
Brickheads.
6 figures. Bam.
Yeah.
Not a sponsor.
Is that Iron Man and one in the middle
I
between
know,
Queen
right?
Amidala?
That's what I was thinking too, but it's
Who's that?
Captain.
Oh, that's the captain. Yeah.
Naka.
Oh shit. Sorry.
It's an Iron Man Mark.
Oh, bird. Uno do
Oh.
back.
Uno do back.
Let's be realistic. If they gave us 2.0 Qui-Gon and Padawan Obi-Wan, it's enough to say they covered the bases. I can
Yeah,
see that
that's-
being it.
Very true.
I would be
Plus this
really
Maul.
pissed though if they gave us a 2.0 Qui-Gon and still didn't give us an Obi.
Well, I think if it came down to it and they really didn't want to go that deep into this line, I think they gave us Obi-Wan and they can go away. I don't even think, honestly, I don't even know. Like I said, I'm not sure if a 2.0 Qui-Gon will happen, or if it happens, it's
Maybe
going to
not.
be a reissue. It's not a 2.0. It'll be a reissue. You're going to get exactly
God,
the
that'd
same
be
thing you
such a
got
cool
before.
Artisan figure, man.
It would be a phenomenal. There's some great artists who've done
One
it.
of the
They've even
best
gone
artists.
towards.
His hair, dude. that was
They've
best
done the
hair in game.
rooted beard. You got to see some. I got to send you some photos.
Yeah,
There's some
yeah.
really good ones out there.
We're
I mean,
100%
even getting the
getting
hair color
Obi-Wan.
right.
There is no way we do not get Padawan Obi. This figure is happening.
If you can count anything Obi-Wan, but it's just like
Right.
for
That's
me,
like
I
a
feel like
guarantee.
the Obi-Wans that are left to do, I feel like they're like the new Han Solos for prequel figures, as far as I'm concerned, because they've made every respectable Anakin that can possibly be made, right? Aside from little Annie, which kind of a pipe dream, but you never know. Stranger things have happened. But I feel like they're intentionally holding on to Obi-Wan because the fact that if they don't have part 2 when they have a massive Attack of the Clones line already out for everybody else but him,
Exactly.
and then you have everybody, practically almost everybody that's relevant in part 1, and there's still no Padawan Obi-Wan. That tells you that they're holding on to that thing. That's just how it looks like optics wise here.
It'll happen. It'll happen in due time. Another thing is like we're waiting on 2 Obi-Wans to release right now. That's the other problem. Got Clone Wars Obi-Wan and Kenobi show. Like they announced a 3rd one. That's 3 Obi-Wans sitting there.
Yep.
Got him happen, man.
Yeah.
We got
Maybe
3 Anakins out there.
we're gonna get through all these Obi-Wans, and I think then that's when they'll probably be like, okay, we'll throw that one out there.
Exactly what Riley said when he said the Phantom Menace logo that they showed for the new IP was Maul and Obi-Wan. Like you have to.
Yeah,
have
you can't
them come
ignore the
out.
character,
You
but
cannot not do that figure. That would be insane.
you got 2 Obis in the space right now: the Kenobi show and the Clone Wars one. And the Clone Wars one you can still find into places, and Kenobi. Kenobi show one is full, right? The list for that one.
I think the standard waitlist is full, but whatever the lower tier one is, waitlist is full, and the higher
Gotcha.
tier one is still waitlist is open, but it's waitlisted.
Yeah, we got to get through those before they'll give us these other ones here. I just don't see them popping another 2 more out there when there's already 2 on the way.
We got 3 Anakins, so I don't know.
No, fair point.
Some random stuff.
Fair point. Senior
Anakin's the
Brickster.
goat, though.
Point.
Luke Skywalker's the GOAT.
Shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
Anakin's a goat.
All right, boys. We hit the 3-hour mark.
3 hours.
Yes, I'm gonna call it
Holy sheboygan.
for the night. A
Wheel.
lot of fun. We pretty much talked about kind of what videos were coming out when we started the show, so I'm gonna kind of skip through that. But as always, this was a great show tonight. We talked about a lot of good stuff. We had a really good turnout from you guys in the chat. Appreciate you guys just being active as always and making this show great. One of the best on YouTube, if I don't say so myself. Guys, it was a pleasure. Hope you all have a good rest of the week. Hopefully we get some announcements. But hopefully we really get some releases. So we'll see. But yeah, it was good hanging out with everybody. Hope you guys have a good rest of the week. Until next time, stay safe out there, and we'll see you soon. Peace out, everybody. Too sweet. Take care. Keep bricking. Collect safely. We'll see you soon.
Collect carefully.
Mm.